disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it no more.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
You just killed a fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
You're happy because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. You're happy because you got nothing. Lorito! Got nothing.
I want to get out. I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA boxing.
Welcome everybody to another BD Boxing podcast, broadcasting to you live from the True North. This is a good friend, Mr. BDA, and I'm glad everybody could be on board for this one, fellas. We got a fantastic show for you today. We're going to be covering the aftermath of the Joyce versus Joseph Parker fight that just unraveled before our eyes, man. Let me tell you something, quite a performance, I must say. We're going to be talking about what's next for the heavyweight division. Is he the boogeyman of this division? We're going to find out. We're going to be talking with everybody. We're going to be taking phone calls as well in about an hour or 45 minutes. And we're also going to be talking about last night's fight. Yes, indeed, a Friday fight on ESPN. So we're going to be talking about that. Shout out to It Was All a Dream for extending the BDA membership program. He says, how's it going, Mr. Antelope? Yeah, a little Second Renaissance reference there from It Was All a Dream. Check out Second Renaissance, by the way. Fantastic interview we did with HPTC about the Ciudad Juarez murders. In any event, before we get down to the fun here, let's get the business out of the way, guys. You know the drill. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. If you want to donate a couple of shekels our way, you can certainly do that via the super chat feature. It's always better if you join the BD membership program. That way you get more bang for your buck. But like I said, the most important thing is you continue to subscribe, like, spread the BD gospel, all right? Hey, shout out to One Foot Out the Door as well for extending his membership program. Shout out to One Foot Out the Door, and he says Joyce didn't look slow tonight. Well, I suppose that's a relative or subjective thing here. He looks slow to me, but that's to his advantage, it seems, here, the way he breaks people down. So I want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat. Boxing Pound for Pound Jack, One Foot Out the Door, of course. Jay Colt, Alan R, King Bucho in there, Shadow Combat, Some Rando. Who was it? Jesus M. Couldn't see him earlier. Shout out to Jesus M. Disgruntled Armadillo, rather. I was saying in Spanish. Shout out to It Was All a Dream. I Am Your Leader. Shout out to I Am Your Leader. Vince Danes, Some Rando, Sergeant Z, USMC. How many more people to come? I'm sure. Fellas, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. All right, let's get down to it. I mean, I hopped on. I haven't seen the interviews, post-fight interviews. Hopefully somebody can keep us up to date about what each guy said after the fight. With that being said, if you didn't catch the fight, spoilers ahead. Joyce ends up breaking down Joseph Parker in the 11th round. Guys, as I was watching the fight and I was reading a little bit of what people were saying on Discord, it seemed like it was just going to be a matter of time. From the third round on, it seemed, I don't know. I don't think Parker's going to be around for too much longer. To his credit, he actually seemed more dangerous when he was tired and fumbling around. Maybe he should have gone into the ring tired. Maybe he would have made it to the final bell. But in any event, Joyce has quite a style, I must say. Quite a style. He's slow. He moves like a mummy. He doesn't really put punches together all that well. He takes flush shots on the chin, but this guy seems like he's made out of, he's like a rubber tire that just keeps walking towards you. You can hit him to the body and those punches are just going to bounce off of him. Same thing to the chin. A very, very difficult guy to fight. Now, going into this fight, I was thinking, because Joyce is already, 38, 37? And I was thinking, he's taking some big shots in his career. Even in the Daniel Dubois fight, he took Dubois out, just like a little bit like he did with Parker here, but he took some heavy shots. That eventually that ends up taking its toll on you. Case in point, Jamel Herring. Oh, no, sorry, not Jamel Herring. What was the guy? Jared Hurd. Excuse me. I always confuse those names for some reason, the J. But Jared Hurd, for a while there, he was walking through everybody too. He was walking through shots. He was getting hit with multiple flush shots and just kept walking guys down. And eventually that took its toll on him, and now he's near shot. So I was thinking, when is it going to catch up with Joyce? Well, it certainly didn't catch up with him today. This evening, because he just... Now, again, though, I'm just putting myself here in devil's advocate, playing devil's advocate. How much do you guys think this benefited Joyce or made him look good? Because, in a way, Parker's a bit of a slapper. He's not necessarily that textbook puncher. And I know I saw the training videos in the build-up to this fight where Parker was training with Andy Lee. And Lee was really trying to get him to sit more on his shots, really lift the elbow, maybe, really some power shots. And, it just, even then, Joyce was walking through them. And I must say, okay, maybe you could say Parker is slapping, but that's a 6'4" guy slapping you. Those are some pretty hard slaps. And Joyce barely blinks when he takes his shots and just keeps coming forward. Gonna be trouble. But I'm curious to hear from you fellas. Which style out there, which boxer, which current top 10 heavyweight guy, or even top 15, has the style to beat the juggernaut? Or is it going to take an unmovable object to stop the unstoppable force? That's a big question right there. I'm going to tell you right off the bat, and I know people are going to say, BD, again with the Usyk. But listen, this guy, I was going to say, Usyk has a bad style for him. No, he's got a bad style for everybody. And it's precisely those qualities that he possesses that are going to give Joyce problems, just like they did in the World Boxing Series so many years ago. Usyk is faster than Joyce, so he's going to be able to hit him and get away. And not only that, he's got a good gas tank, so he can do it for all 12 rounds. So that right there, A, Usyk beats him, but B, it's probably a moot point because Usyk has stated that he's only interested in about 2-3 fights. And that does not include Joyce. So I suppose we can forget about that. Before we continue here, let me see what people in the chat are saying. Boxing Pound from Pound says Joyce stops Usyk late. All right, there we go. We got somebody with a disagreeing point there. Paper Tiger says Lucky Wilder, Usyk, Sharp, AJ. Okay, so a Lucky Wilder. I mean, Paper Tiger brings up a good name here, Deontay Wilder, because he's certainly faster than Joe Joyce. Now, the question is, if he catches Joyce, can he put him down? Because I know we've had people call in on the show, or just in the community as a whole here, talking about how Wilder's power is overrated. I mean, he couldn't drop to Happus. Is it possible he's going to be unable to drop Joyce? One can only wonder. GGS says, dude can go the full 12. Self-Loss says, Usyk already beat him. Yeah, but we're talking professional ranks here. But by the way, like I said, that fight's probably not happening. Alan R says, AJ is not beating Joyce. Interesting. I want to go back to that. Steven Schneider, shout out to Steven Schneider, says, well, Fury will never fight him, that's for sure. Aren't they friends or something? By the way, I heard a disturbing rumor. I hope it's not true over on Twitter. Supposedly Fury is moving on from the what's it called? The Joshua fight. And he wants to fight Manuel Char. Say it ain't so, man. Say it ain't so. What else was I going to say here? Oh, shout out to Uriah Smith for his contribution to the Super Chat. Says, Joyce, the tortoise that wins the race. Viva Shakur, the new Puerto Rican hope and low blow king. Yeah, I saw some memes. I don't know who started them, but they're calling him the next Hector Macho Camacho. And, I mean, Hector Camacho, when he was at super featherweight, he was a very good fighter. He looked like he was going to be a world beater. And then he just, I don't know what happened to the fella. I mean, well, it's a long story. It all unraveled with Edwin Rosario. Was his nickname El Chapo, by the way? Edwin El Chapo Rosario, I think it was. What else? Somebody saying, open up the phone lines. Well, I mean, I got to tell you, I'm taking aback here because I was expecting people to jump on the panel. And I'm all by my lonesome. So I might just do that. I might end up opening up the lines earlier than usual. That being said, I got a lot to say. So you guys are going to have to bear with me here. But actually, let me just read a couple more comments. It's a rare occasion to read the comments here on the air. Vince Dane says, Joyce was landing on Usyk. His relentless come-forward style is a nightmare as it makes heavyweights constantly move. Yeah, but that's the problem, though. With Usyk, he can move all 12 rounds. And, you know, he's got the gas tank. He's got the hand speed to get in and out. I'm not saying it would be easy. He would be redlining that gas tank for sure. But unfortunately, I don't think that fight's happening because, like I said, Usyk has stated that he's only interested in 3 names right now. By the way, one of those names is Canelo. Can you believe it? That would be a disgrace if he ends up fighting Canelo. Virtuoso says the jugs. The jugs. Well, I mean, if either fighter had tits, I think you'd have a good point. But I mean, jugs short for juggernaut, I can go with it. JJ says, I think Joyce would beat the crap out of Wilder. Well, there you go. People seem to be in the consensus that Wilder has no chance. Now, I'm going to chalk that up to people being in the moment and thinking, well, you know, we just saw Joyce. But I mean, that's the other thing. How much credit do you guys give? I'm curious. How much credit are you going to give him for being the first to stop Parker? Because Ruiz didn't beat him and he couldn't really hurt Parker. Dillian White dropped him but couldn't put him away. And in fact, he almost got taken out late in the fight. Joshua was, you know, it was just touching him with the jab. He was never able to pin him down. Now we got this guy, Joyce, coming in here and stopping him. I got to tell you, I'm impressed. I'm impressed. But I don't, to me, it's still 60-40 against Joshua. 60% on Joyce's favor, obviously. But Joshua is not Dubois. Yes, he tires, and a little bit like Dubois, but he's got better combinations. He's more seasoned. So it's the type of fight. Let me just say this. It's the type of fight that during the first 3 rounds, within the first 3 rounds, we will see what's what. Just like we did with the Parker fight, where you can tell that Joyce is just softening the guy up, battering him a little bit by little bit, and then once the other guy gets tired, by the 6th round, you go, okay, that we know where this is going. But I tell you, Joshua is no cakewalk. No cakewalk at all. The guy can crack. He can put together some good combinations. And listen, he would definitely be dangerous for the first 5 or 6 rounds. Maybe even later if he can get his second win. But right now, Joyce is the darling of this of boxing right now because people are very impressed. Just reading the comments, a little bit of the Discord. I must tell you, quite the performance. By the way, before I went on the air here on this broadcast, I heard, as I was leaving, closing my stream, I heard that all the judges had Joyce ahead on the scorecards, which, you know, no surprise there. Logical Man says, Joyce, no damn Mexican style. Stop the beat. Oh, wait, Logical Man is obsessed with Mexicans. He accuses everybody else of being obsessed with blacks. He's the one that keeps bringing up Mexicans all the time. Logical Man, you gotta save that for your debate with El Jefe. Which is, a little announcement now that we got people here. Apparently, Jefe and Logical Man want to do a debate on race. And the only thing is Jefe wants to do it at fucking 11 p.m. Eastern time. So fucking late. I don't know if he works at a gravesite or something during the day, but both guys are willing to do it, so we're going to see that. All right? So expect a lot of chaos for that one. Amak PvP, shout out to Amak PvP for his contribution with the super chat. He says, in a perfect world, Joyce versus Luis Jr. becomes mandatory. You know what? I don't usually pay attention to these titles, but I am curious now. What are the rankings here? Let me go check it out. Because Joyce doesn't have a belt, does he? Like I said, I don't pay attention to these titles, but I must now, just to have an understanding of what could be next. Okay, so I'm looking at the WBO. Well, let me put it up for you, fellas. First of all, don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like. Gonna be opening up the phone line soon, like I said. All right, so we've got the WBO champion is Alexander Usyk, as well as the IBF, as well as the WBA. Aren't there any super titles here that I'm missing? Or some sort of franchise or diamond belt or special edition, Coomer belt? All right, so Joyce is a number one contender for the WBO. He appears to be unranked in the top 10 in the IBF. Same goes for the WBA. Same goes for the wait. Number 2 WBC. All right. So he's got some title shots incoming. Wouldn't surprise me if Usyk vacates the belt as negotiations with Fury continue to unwind or not happen, as it were. Wouldn't surprise me to see maybe Usyk during his inactivity say, you know what, I'm vacating one of these belts, and Joyce with Frank Sanchez. Do you guys think Frank Sanchez would be able to run around the ring all 12 rounds against Joyce? I'm curious. Very, very, very curious to see how that one would happen. I hear also a Jagba is going to be fighting that giant Russian from Montreal or whatever he is, Eastern European. That's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be an interesting one for sure. But be that as it may, as you can see, guys, there's a lot of movement now here in the heavyweight division. A lot of comings and goings, a lot of interested parties, and we're going to keep our eyes on this. The other thing about Joyce, though, the one that I would have liked to have seen, a fight that I think would have been very difficult for him, would have been Jarrell Big Baby Miller. I'm talking a full-on pharmaceutical Jarrell Miller. Because that guy was almost 300 pounds and almost a similar style to Joyce. Slow, but very heavy. Just sticks to you, slow punches, but little by little he starts breaking you down. But unfortunately, this Baby Miller, without the steroids, is just a fat piece of crap. And I don't know if we're going to see him again. But it would have been an interesting fight. King KO says Frankie Sanchez would get slapped by Joyce. Maybe. Steve Lopez says, I don't know, Sanchez has Eddie in his corner. Well, that could prove a problem. I mean, Sanchez did move around the ring very well against Jagba, so we'll see. Shout out to Blue Collar Sports TV. Everybody check out his channel. He says, I wish Joyce turned pro earlier, man. Yeah, that's one of the big ifs, but I mean, listen, heavyweight division, this type of style could work for him for a good long while. But I don't like seeing him taking too many flush shots because eventually that is going to take its toll on you. Eventually it is going to take its toll on you. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, who you know. Those type of head-rattling shots will take an effect. And like we know, all it takes in the heavyweight division is one shot. One shot. And you could get taken out. What else was I going to say about that? So I brought up the Baby Miller, or I brought Joshua. Usyk, again, he's probably not going to fight him. Again, he's looking for that Fury fight. And again, guys, please tell me it ain't so that Fury is going to be fighting Manuel Char. Why would he do that? I mean, people were giving him shit for trying to fight Joshua. Why do you think it's going to happen if he... I don't even want to think about it. I'm looking at the top 10 here. Hey, you know what? The way Zhang actually was pushing Hrgovic back the other day. Do you guys think Joyce would actually stop Hrgovic? That's the way it looks like to me. Frankie Sanchez, Frankie boy, might pull off the upset. You never know. Again, if you get speed and you can get away from Joyce, yeah, it's going to be taxing on the body to be able to have to run or move around the ring for 12 rounds. But it's doable. Dylan White versus Joyce. Now, that would be interesting because Parker was doing something interesting in this fight. Later on the fight, as he was getting tired, he said, you know what, let me just try to fight him on the inside, try to push him back. And it appeared like he was having a little bit of success. All right, hey, Andy Ruiz, how do you guys think that would look? Because Ruiz, the little blob of fat that could. Very dangerous with the counter shots, especially the temple shots. See, that's the thing. Guys, there's guys out there that have good chins. They can take a good shot to the chin. Did you hit him on the temple there? What are they going to do? It either discombobulates you or it doesn't. And that would be a dangerous fight. Well, Parker finally gets taken out. Then you got Wilder, who's still number 2. Hasn't fought in over a year. We have to wait and see how he looks against Hellenius. We have to. And even then, you guys think he would actually? You think that PBC would put him in there against Joyce? You think that would happen? You think that would happen? I'm asking you if you think that would happen. I'm going to open up phone lines and I'm going to let you guys decide. I want to hear from you. Shout out to Urea Smith. I was going to say Urethra Smith. Urea Smith for his contribution. Hold on a second. Is he a he or a her? Okay. Okay, from afar, I thought it was a chick with long hair, but it's, I don't know who that is. A philosopher or one of the founding fathers? Well, he didn't leave a message. So shout out to Urea Smith for his contribution. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it, my man. Shazar says, Hergo bitch gets knocked out by Joyce. The sheer pressure would do him in. Come on, what do you gotta call him a bitch? I'm gonna leave that Urea Smith comment up a little bit there. Paper Tiger says Joyce makes fat so quick. I'm telling you, these people in the chat are ruthless, man. King Butcher says, let me in. I hope that's King Butcher. Otherwise, I don't know who the fuck I'm letting in. All right. I'm calling all cars here. Calling all cars. You know what? Alan R wants to drop by. Ah, shit. Okay. Okay, I got a room here. All right, we got Butcher and Alan. Thank you guys for dropping by. Well, King Butcher, you wanted to go first. I think so. Go ahead, man. Butcher and Alan. Thank you guys for dropping by.
You need to meet your... yeah.
Okay, I think he did.
I was going to say that finally Parker gets stopped. You know, he's always lackluster. You know, he's boring. And his opponents always let him off the hook. They never pressure him. He's tired, but they let him relax. And then he manages to finish the fight. But this time around, there was enough pressure that, you know, was enough to break down a guy like Parker. And, you know, so finally, you know, and he didn't look fat, but he looked like flabby, softer. I don't know how to explain it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think he came in at his heaviest because he expected to put on some, you know, counter Joyce's movement, pressure rather. But yeah, go ahead, man.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Alan.
All right, great. Thanks.
So yeah, finally he loses, and you know that's. I mean, for Parker now, he really needs to change his style, be more aggressive, and not get that tired. I mean, that was ridiculous. He was tired in around round 4 or 5. Like he got tired in those rounds. Come on. And when it comes to Joyce, I think he's the third best heavyweight right now. So you have Fury, Usyk. You can interchange him if you want, and then you have Joyce. I don't know why Wilder is ranked so high. He didn't even put up a fight against Tyson Fury. The other boxers did a better job against Tyson Fury. Even though they lost, they did a better job than Wilder. Wilder just got destroyed. It's ridiculous why he's ranked so high. So yeah, Joyce is the number 3 heavyweight right now, and I think he beats almost everyone. I think he stops Deontay Wilder.
Oh, it wouldn't even be close.
He stops Deontay Wilder. Joshua probably stops him as well, huh? If you think of it, he puts on that type of high work rate, but still he outboxes Joshua. So to be honest, I just see him losing to Usyk or Tyson Fury.
Interesting.
That Croatian guy gets knocked out. I mean, nobody can really stop him. Yeah.
Mucho, do you agree that Joyce has the most brutal style in the heavyweight division right now?
Brutal style, yeah, because he's like a Terminator. I said it on Discord. This guy never stops.
It's like he figured out
job.
He figured out distance, right? How to stay just close enough and just far enough away from his opponent, and he generates power from mid-range. Like he doesn't have to cock his hand back. You don't see this guy turning his body into his punches. He's just there squared up in a balanced stance, just boom, 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 like just the whole fight, man. That is a brutal style to watch, man.
Hey, by the way, before I continue on that, because I want to add to that, shout out to Urea Smith for his contribution with the super chat. He says Jimmy was right about Shakur. His power won't translate well to 135. He was in the pocket the whole fight. Couldn't close the deal. Couldn't close the deal, huh? He wouldn't do well in real estate, let me tell you, if that's the case. But shout out to Uriah Smith. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that after we get done here with the Joyce fight. But,
and also,
yeah.
And Joyce, what Alan said is true. And on top of that, if the defense fails, meaning if an opponent manages to hit Joyce, he has an amazing fucking chin. So I mean, he has almost a lot of bases covered. You know what I mean? He's very dangerous.
That guy looks like he's wearing a helmet under his skin, man.
Yeah, well, I described him earlier as a rubber tire that just keeps coming after you and everything bounces off of him. It's insane. It's the type of style that this can be a nightmare. I think that's a good way of describing it. But that being said, there are ways to counter that style. But right now, the heavyweight division is so thin. The only one that I can pick for certainty over him would be Usyk, maybe Tyson Fury, because he could counter that size too with his own bulk. Other than that, like I said earlier, Joshua, what do you guys think, Joshua? How many rounds in do you think it would take before you can determine, okay, I know which way the fight's going to go?
I think we'd see something similar to what happened to Parker.
I agree.
He would just break him down.
You would be able to tell in like 4 rounds, 5 rounds, man. In the middle of the fight, basically, you start noticing.
The difference here is Joshua actually hits harder, so I do think there would be some precarious moments for Joyce because you can't keep taking these type of shots over and over. Eventually, it takes its toll, and eventually, someone's gonna catch you and wobble you. But even then, Joshua, we know his stamina is suspect. Maybe that has been overrated a little bit. The fact that he tires, but he does tire. We saw him break against Ruiz. We saw him later, gasping for air against Usyk in this last fight. So, I mean, he's dangerous. If he comes in lean, he could present a problem. But Joyce, like we said, he's got that weird style, man, where he's willing to take a shot to give a shot. And you know what? What I like about the guy, he's smart because he just puts on the pressure, like Alan says too. It's pressure with the feet because he's not just constantly throwing. He's just stepping in, standing in front of the guy, and then knowing how to stand back and avoid certain shots or block certain shots. And then once he's got you looking like a drunk, little by little, he starts adding more juice to the shots. And before you know it, you end up like Parker. So, man.
Yeah, it's a little tough to explain, but it's almost like a philosophy you develop after you've boxed a certain number of years. I have the feeling like somebody that really understands boxing talked to Joyce at some point and told him, understand who you are, right? Understand what you can do.
Sounds like a speech, yeah.
Like you're not Usyk. You're never going to be as fast as him, right? You're not going to be AJ. You're just a big, tough, heavy dude, man. Like, learn how to use distance, timing, and don't load up your shots because you got heavy hands to begin with. And just keep a relentless pressure throughout 12 rounds, man. Like this dude has a ridiculous style, in my opinion, man.
You know what? I think you're right, man. Somebody did give. In other words, he found his groove. He found what works with him for him, and because there's so many guys that don't. There's guys out there that got punching power, and they don't use it, or they don't let their hands go. I'll give an example of another guy that fits this pattern or this mold. Maidana. He was heavy-handed, and then once he got with Robert Garcia, added a couple more wrinkles to his game, but he wasn't going out there trying to box. He was throwing and trying to hit whatever he could. And if I can knock you out, I'm at least going to put a hurting on you for as long as it goes. That's the way you're supposed to fight if you got this type of tools. And that's what Joyce brings to the table. So that's a very good way of breaking it down there, Alan.
He's the guy that doesn't care if you outland him in the first 5 rounds. He just wants to get his shots in. He probably even has it down to a formula. I hit you with 20 heavy shots per round, and by the 6th round, you're starting to wear down. And that's when I started throwing even heavier shots, man. Like you saw it. Like he started throwing even bigger bombs, and I was like, oh my God. When I saw that, I was like, Parker's gonna get hurt.
Yeah, he's got thudding power. It's not gonna take you out from the get-go, but you can tell he's shaking the core of the other guy. That's a lot of bulk behind those shots. By the way, shout out to AS for his contribution with the super chat. He says, when can we call in, BDA? Well, we're gonna I don't know if I'm going to see if we're done with this subject, then we're going to move on to Friday's fight, and then afterwards we'll open up the phone lines there. But you guys got anything else you want to add about the Joyce fight?
Nope.
No? All right. Well, let's get
let's move on.
Okay, let's go on to the other fight we had yesterday, rather. Shakur Stevenson boxing his way to a decision over Robson Conceição in a homecoming event in New Jersey, which almost turned into a bit of a nightmare the day before when Shakur Stevenson failed to make weight. I'm going to delve into that later on. But Shakur Stevenson ended up winning a 12-round decision. I think he scored a knockdown, but I didn't see it. I think it was when they went to commercial, and then when they came back, they said that, yeah, there had been a knockdown. Shakur Stevenson did end up losing a point during the fight. He was also warned for several low blows. We're going to get to that later as well. But Shakur Stevenson ended up winning by scores of 117-109, 118-108, and 118-108, and two scorecards of 117-109. Apparently, he wants Lomachenko after this. Interesting why he wouldn't mention Devin Haney. Interesting why he wouldn't mention Devin Haney. But let me just, I'd like to start off here, if I could, giving my thoughts on Shakur Stevenson, because I like the fact that he put on pressure. He didn't run, he didn't back foot bitch it. But then, and the other thing is, I hope now people understand what it is that we've been trying to convey here to people about clinching. Because Conceição was clinching a lot during the fight. And so often, people, especially people of a specific demographic, black people, excuse me, I was coughing, they like to justify clinching from their fighters, guys like Tank Davis, Devin Haney, and so on and so forth, even Shakur Stevenson. And they say, well, it's part of the game. They call it veteran tactics. They try to justify it too sometimes by saying, well, if it's the other guy's job too to get out of that clinch. Well, now it happened to their guy. And we saw what happened. But I must also say, to be fair, I hate the clinching, and I hated the clinching last night from Conceição. It put me to sleep. But that being said, the same thing that these people say about you got to counter the clinching somehow with veteran tactics, well, that's what Conceição was doing to counter Shakur Stevenson's low blow. So it was just two guys doing stuff that wasn't entertaining, and that's what happened. But also Shakur Stevenson has a very weird style, man. Unorthodox. People, you would not use the word textbook to describe this guy. And I would not teach anybody, a beginner, to box like him because he does things that are wrong, but he makes them work. Just when you think he's there to be hit, he moves a little bit, and then he's out, but he's not moving the head, bobbing and weaving or anything. He just leans back, and then boom, he's right back in the same axis. It's weird, man. It's like fighting a guy who's on a pole and connected to a spring. But the other thing I wanted to say was that, okay, he tried to put on pressure, but it was still boring. It almost reminds me of Winky Wright back in the day when he was a stick and move guy. He wasn't getting the big fights. So then he said, okay, let me put on the earmuffs and walk guys down. And guess what? He still wasn't enthralling because it's just him moving forward, throwing one shot at a time, low blows. And it's, in other words, it's mundane because it's the same thing round after round after round. So, I mean, you got to give him credit for winning. I do give him credit for at least trying to be a little bit more aggressive. But then it brings the point here. The reason why I bring all of it up, finally, is because how is that going to work against the cream of the crop at 135? Guys that are bigger, maybe just as fast, if not faster than Shakur Stevenson, who hit harder. Okay? Now, before I let you guys go and add to that, give me your points of view, I just want to share real quick. Shout out to Amak PVP for his contribution with the super chat. He says, Snorkur the Malkita low blower sleeping stand. Okay, so that's a lot of permutations there of Shakur's name. Shout out to Amak PVP, and shout out to Gold Sky Beats for his contribution as well via the super chat. He says, Joyce said his bone density is 5 times the average. Well, really? Is that a medical thing? Is that a medical fact? I want to look that up. But shout out to you guys. Thank you for your contribution. And fellas, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on Shakur Stevenson's win over Conceição. Whoever wants to go first.
Yeah, I'll go first then. Okay, so the guy, I wasn't that impressed with his performance at the beginning. Yeah, it looked like Shakur was going to stop Conceição, but the fight started to slow down. Shakur he wasn't looking that like I read reading on Discourse. Like you're watching a generational fighter here. It's like then he shut his mouth up because I can't hear echo, man. Anyways, so I wasn't that impressed, man. To be honest, like and yeah, like, I didn't like the clinching, but I also didn't like the low blows. And I don't how many times did Shakur get warned? Like
He
more
got
than two
warned.
times.
More than 2 times, I think. The only time they took a point away was when he fucking tried his body slam Conceição.
Yeah,
But why'd you? Because
it's a good
Butcher, what'd you
win. It's
think
a
of
good
him?
win, but it's nothing like it's not a. And this is the thing, though. These people that are like complaining about people not saying that we just watch a generational talent. These are the same people that didn't give any credit to Lomachenko for making guys quit. So that's why I don't really give a shit about what these people say. They don't know shit about boxing. They don't have any standards. And yeah, I mean, it's just, but we're gonna expose them.
Can I just say real quick? Funcrates makes a good point. He says, "LOL, yeah, he did a Salido, came in way overweight and hit the nuts over and over." That's a good way of putting it, man. It's a good way of putting it.
And in the punching power, I mean, you see there, he never managed. Now, yes, Conceição looks like a big 130 pounder, but when Shakur moves up into 135, he's gonna be fighting probably some guys that are big enough to be welterweight sometimes, So it's gonna be interesting.
I'll come clean on Conseca. Like, I hadn't really seen the guy fight before this. I was going off of what other people were observing about him and saying that he really won against Valdez and he got robbed. And, the dude is like super athletic and an Olympian. So I'm like, okay, he must be something to look at. And what I saw last night, I was like, oh my God, this dude is trash, bro. He does not know how to throw a clean punch, man. His right hand was just awful. Absolutely awful, man. And his timing and distance, there were times where you could tell he was just flailing shots at Shakur, who was staying just outside of his range. And I'm like, bro, you got to time this stuff. You're not going to just throw your hands willy-nilly and land on this kid.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a lot of things he was doing wrong that kind of killed the fight for me. I was just like, I was expecting so much more than this. But, and with that said, I think, yeah, like you said, once Shakur goes up to 135, I think he's going to start running into a lot more resistance, man.
Absolutely. And you know what, man? It's interesting because I give him points for trying. I really do. But when you're... Hold on a second. I'm having connection issues here. Give me 2 seconds. I want to see if it... all right, there we go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I give him points for trying. But when you start dealing with top 10 pound for pound guys and trying to sort them out, now you're dealing with the uncommon amongst the uncommon. And that's where, when you got guys like Inoue, Beterbiev, Usyk moving up in weight and beating bigger guys, and Inoue and Beterbiev are scoring massive stoppages. Chocolatito's going after guys, showing defense, but putting pressure at the same time and breaking guys out. You really have to outdo that in a performance to be above those guys. And I haven't seen that from Shakur Stevenson. I mean, look, with the Valdez fight, we almost anybody who had a bit of sense knew he was going to box Valdez because we saw Conceição do it. So we expected Shakur Stevenson to do something out of the ordinary. He didn't against Valdez. He did it against Jermell Herring, but then you figured, Jermell Herring had PTSD after the war, so who knows and then he lost his subsequent fight, he retired, so takes a little bit away from it. And now the Conceição fight, he just could put a hurting on the guy. So I don't know. Listen, amongst the top 10 pound for pound, I don't think he's quite there yet. But hey, listen, at the end of the day, winning. He's got those 2 good wins. He's undefeated. He barely loses rounds. But yeah, that's the thing that you guys brought up. Conceição, no feints. No, just throwing an awful right hand. It was a weird performance from Conceição. And I'll give Shakur Stevenson credit for making him look like the way, but I expect more from Shakur Stevenson going down the line because everybody keeps telling me that he's a generational talent, pound for pound #1. So we'll see, man. So far, he hasn't proven it.
I think Conceição was just tough enough and just athletic enough to push this kid physically.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have the skill to really push him, boxing wise. But you could tell like Shakur was getting frustrated, man. He was like, yeah, this dude is like proving to be a little bit too durable in his opinion, I think.
He does this weird thing, Shakur Stevenson, where he gets hit and he starts squinting. Like he's surprised that he got. I guess he's used to being very elusive in sparring and all that and his fights, that he's not used to getting hit. But I still remember against Nakatila, he got caught with a big right hand. He started blinking and squinting, and afterwards he just played it safe. And he even admitted, he said, "I didn't like what I was tasting, and I'll look better the next time," which he did. But he was against Jamal Herring, a guy that couldn't crack. So I guess it's all relative. It's about who he fights, and depending on the power that the person brings. But yeah, man, moving up, he's gonna have a. Hey, that's the other thing though, because top rank now they have Devin Haney, who's got all the belts. They got Lomachenko, who's they tried to make him a mainstream star, didn't work out, but he's still amongst hardcore boxing fans. He's a big name. Then you've got you got those two guys, right? And now Shakur moving up. The fuck does Tank Davis do in this situation? I can't help but think about him when his promoter keeps saying, "Whoa, we're gonna keep things in house." How do you think he feels about all these guys making these fights between each other and themselves, and he's out there alone fighting Isaac Cruz and maybe Rolly Romero, rematch down the line?
I think out of Tank, Shakur and Haney, Shakur is the better technical fighter. His punches are much straighter and sharper. So I think he outboxes Tank and probably beats Haney.
Yeah, probably. We'll see, man. We'll see. I'll be, like I said, I'm curious to see how he's going to look against a different style. Is he going to try to put pressure on, or is he going to try to stay on the outside? It's interesting. He can do a little bit of everything in there, but again, that lack of power and the fact that he was inconsistent in there a little bit too, and the clinch and the low blows, man. And listen, the fact that I do have to take some points away from the pressure fighting, because he did come in overweight and he didn't try to lose those extra pounds. So you have to figure that he was stronger in there than Conceição, who did try to make the weight and was probably feeling adverse effects from it. I don't know, but it was an uneven performance for Shakur Stevenson. I'll put it that way. Listen, I'm going to open up the phone line, so in case anybody wants to call in and give us their point of view on this. But Alan, why do you think Shakur Stevenson mentioned Lomachenko as opposed to Devin Haney?
I guess he feels he can beat Loma. I don't agree. I think Loma would box circles around this kid, man.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. What makes you say that? Like, what do you see from Loma? What are the intangibles that would cause problems for young Shakur?
Well, I think just Loma's distance control and his ability to turn a fighter. Those quick angles that he can throw at you coming in, I don't think this kid's ever seen that before, man.
Well, they have sparred though, right? I mean, I know it's not the same thing as an actual professional boxing match, but you would figure that he'd be somewhat acquainted with Lomachenko's style. The fact that he says he wants to fight him might indicate that maybe he saw something in that sparring session. But I think you're right though, because Loma's, maybe he's a tad slower than Shakur. He definitely hits harder. I dare say he's smarter than Shakur Stevenson. Would you say that Shakur Stevenson has the strength advantage though, even though he was the one moving up?
The what advantage?
The strength advantage, the size advantage.
That's a toss-up for me, man. I think Loma has better legs. He knows how to generate power from his stance better than this kid does. This kid's always going to need distance to land his counters, right? Mm-hmm. Or even coming in, to land his jab and stuff like that. And I think Loma knows how to take that away from you.
Well, I'll tell you what the problem I have also with Shakur Stevenson that would worry me in a fight against Lomachenko is the hands. I think one of the reasons why he doesn't string too many combos together is because he tried that during the pandemic. I think he was one of the first fighters to come back on Top Rank after the pandemic, and he tried to stop this real nobody. I forget who the guy was because he was such a nobody. But he stopped him. But man, I think he actually hurt his both hands. And I think that's either brittle hands or just lack of technique. Because it is a technique thing. It takes a skill to be able to punch hard, and I don't think he knows how to, man.
You have to practice punches, man. It's weird. Like if you don't get that technique down and you land that punch at the wrong angle, to like where you don't have your elbow behind it, you're gonna bend your wrist. You're gonna screw your knuckles up. You can cause damage, man.
Some real fucking damage. Absolutely. These guys. It's a skill to fight, to know how to punch properly. So a lot of people don't get that. I mean, how many times would you see a guy hurt himself on the punching bag? Sometimes just because they don't know how to wrap their hands. Believe it or not, there are people out there that you see them in fights, you see them in corner, fight after fight, and they don't know how to wrap hands properly. So, you got that factor in there. Maybe even factor a guy that doesn't know how to punch. A recipe for disaster for the hands. All right, we got phone calls here. Hold on a second. Let me see if everything's okay here. All right. Let's see. Let's go to and try to make your points brief, fellas. Give us your thoughts on the fights, and we'll move on there. And we are interested to hear what you guys have to say. 951, you're in the air. 951, what's on your mind?
Boom Boom Guy, LDBC.
Oh, what's up, Boom Boom?
What's up? Yeah, I'll try to make this quick. Shakur went in there and handled business. I mean, that performance, it was a layup. I would call that a layup. I mean, it wasn't his best, but he did what he had to do. Obviously, he had a struggling camp trying to lose weight, so you got to consider that too. I wasn't too sold on Robson, but I was optimistic. Why? Because you guys said he should have won against Valdez. I didn't watch the fight, but you said he won against Valdez and he got robbed. But Valdez didn't look good, so I didn't really take that into consideration. The number one thing I was focusing on, which none of you guys mentioned, that Robson beat Lomachenko in the amateurs. I never heard one of you guys say that. That's why I was going to gauge this fight. If Shakur handled him correctly, I said, okay, that makes a good argument for the Loma fight, because Robson did beat Loma in the amateurs.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me you picked Shakur Stevenson over Lomachenko because Robson beat Loma in the amateurs, and since Shakur just beat Robson, therefore he beats Lomachenko?
Well, you guys love to speak about his amateur background, and you guys never consider who he lost to. And I think that makes for a good argument that Shakur just beat the guy who beat Loma in the amateurs. I'm not saying it's not going to be a good fight. I do have Shakur winning. Go ahead.
But when have we said, hey, Loma beat this specific fighter got beaten by fighter B, therefore Lomachenko beats fighter A?
It makes for a good argument, is all I'm saying. So I'm going to get out of here.
You didn't answer my question, but anyway.
Might be on my end.
You didn't answer my question, but anyway, we got to move on. So you want to comment too on the Joyce fight?
No, I didn't watch it. I actually, I didn't watch that fight, to be honest.
Boom, boom. Come on, man. It was a good fight,
Boom,
man.
boom out.
It was a good fight. What's the matter with you?
I'm sure it was. I'll catch the I'll catch the recap, but I mean, Friday and Saturday, that's kind of, I don't know. It's too much. It was a busy
I got you.
time, but
I got you.
Y'all call in on the next one.
All right, man. Thank you for calling in. Take it easy. All right.
Yeah, I'd have to see that Loma Conseco fight, man. Because that dude is not outboxing Loma on any level, man.
Yeah, but I mean, this argument that since Conseco beat Loma in the amateurs, therefore Shakur's gonna beat him. Because I mean, it's a little weird, man. You got to admit. Here's the other thing I want to say. Hold on a second. All right. Yeah, don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like. Fuck, I was gonna say something here, but I got distracted here by the phone calls. All right. Let's go to another phone call here. Let's go to... Oh, by the way, I think Loma beat Conseco afterwards. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know. I think they split a pair of bouts. I'll have to Google it. But let's go to another phone call here. Let's go to 832. You're on the air. 832. What's on your mind?
All right, man. This is JJ Turo. I was watching I watched the fight yesterday. I don't really watch the Joyce one. I'm gonna watch that one though. But y'all can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, man.
Yeah.
Y'all can hear me? All right, baby. So look. To me, that wasn't a boring fight, and I think he did. I think he has I think, to be honest, the only person who really gives Lomachenko like a lot of problems is Shakur. This is just my opinion, right? But I think Lomachenko beats pretty much everyone, man. I think he probably beats Theo in a rematch. I think he probably no, I definitely think Lomachenko beats Devin Haney. I think he probably could beat Tank. I don't know about that one, but I think Shakur probably got the. I would probably pick Shakur to beat Lomachenko. That's just me though. But I get it. Lomachenko generates more power and whatnot. But when it comes to a technical battle, I think Shakur is the only person who could really mess with Lomachenko. If you know what I'm saying. Because Lomachenko got angles, but Shakur got inside angles. He instead of going on the outside to land some punches, Shakur will go to Lomachenko's left side and land punches there from that angle, kind of like what Pacquiao used to do with the jab and the 1-2, and with the hook to the body is the right hook to the. I think that's really the only valid fight. He was Lomachenko's sparring partner for leading up to the Guillermo Rigondeaux fight, and that was good as southpaw. So him giving Lomachenko work in sparring, from what I heard, man, that's gonna be that's gonna be a super fight when that happens, man. All right, what do y'all think?
I mean, we'll see if it happens. We'll see if it happens, but I gotta tell you, I'm hearing some Rick Glazer star rumor on Twitter saying that Haney's gonna move up to 140 after this second Kambosos fight. So if that's the case, maybe that's why Shakur brought up Vasyl Lomachenko first, because he knows something the rest of us don't, which is that Haney's vacating those belts after he's done with Kambosos. What do you think, Alan? About the potential Loma fight?
I think if Shakur can match angles with Loma, then I think it's going to come down to a battle of feet. Who's got quicker feet?
So you think footwork is going to be key here?
I think battle of feet.
Yeah, that's the key. You know what I'm saying? I think he's got a young mind, a mind that could keep up with the advanced mind of Lomachenko, making adjustments on the fly. Teofimo kind of has some success there, but I don't think he would be able to replicate what he did in the first Lomachenko fight. His mind is elsewhere now, I think. So the only real person who I think is not doesn't have a basic style, even though Tank knocks people out, low key I think he got a groove or a little routine where he does so where he knocks people out. But same thing with other fighters. I'm not gonna say much more, on their names. But Shakur is really he trains with Bud Crawford too. Good work, man. Good work equals to positive outcomes. You know what I'm saying? So
that's right.
He looked okay in the Faso fight. He looked okay. You know what I'm saying? But he probably didn't look as powerful as what we hope for. But I think he will eventually grow into his man strength and start knocking people out. Hurting people.
Well, we'll see, man. Because we'll see. Because I've heard that H2 thing. He's young, but we'll see. But before we continue, hold on. Straight G, thank you for your call, man. We're gonna move on, but thank you for your call. Call back next time, right, man? Take it easy. All right, Alan, you were gonna say something?
And Conceicao did land some clean hook counters on Shakur too, man. It's not like the kid can't be hit. He is open to be hit. And I think against someone like Loma with superior timing and hand speed, it could cause problems for him.
Yeah, I think people aren't. They might be overrating Shakur Stevenson. They might be, man. And I don't think some people don't want to hear that. Don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like, man. Let's go to another phone call here. Let's go to 520. 520, you're on the air. 520. What's on your mind?
Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Zero Cool. I was gonna say that I'd like to see Joyce versus Anderson. You know, I think that would be a good style fight. I honestly, we knew that Stevenson, you know, is gifted, even though there's a lot of clinching, there's a lot of back foot. You know, give him credit; he's very talented. It wasn't so much of a surprise that he won, but what does concern me is the lack of power. I don't know if you know how that's going to translate to 135, especially since he's moving up there. What I can say is that I do believe he will have success. I think he could outbox Haney and as well as Tank. It'll be a good style fight for Lomachenko. To me, I do give it an slight edge to Lomachenko, but you know, you never know. You know, like Stevenson is good at dodging a lot of punches. He gets hit the least. You know, so it would be a very good fight. One thing I did want to throw in was for that first caller, Boom Boom or whatnot. If he wants to talk about amateur fights, well, that's like saying Spence beat Ugas and Ugas beat Crawford twice in the amateurs, you know? So does that automatically say that Spence is going to dog walk Bud Crawford? I mean, I like Spence and I hope he does, but I mean, I wouldn't say that all that's going to happen just because of that sequence of events. So, I mean, listen, it's a good little story to tell.
It was
a good little triangle, story to tell, but I mean, look.
It was triangle theory going back to the amateurs. That shit. Even triangle theory doesn't fly in the pros. It dissolves even further, deteriorates even further when you go back to the amateurs. It's nonsensical. And I try to get him to explain himself, but he just doubled down on some other nonsensical thing. But Zero Cool, anything else you want to say, man? Because we got to get to other phone calls here.
No, just shout out to the panel, everybody that was watching it. Hopefully we get some good fights coming up pretty soon. And shout out to Amanda Serrano. You know, she took care of business today, and I'm glad she won.
There you go. All right, Zero Cool, thank you for your call. Call back next time, all right, man? Take it easy. By the way, I must say something here. While I was taking the phone calls, I did look it up. Apparently, the only thing I can find so far is that it says here that Lomachenko won a 19-18 decision against Robson Conceição of Brazil. Now, from what I can gather from what somebody said in the comment section is that initially the decision had been announced for Conceição, and then it was immediately or reversed shortly thereafter. So it was a close fight, but Vasil Lomachenko apparently won. I don't know if they fought multiple times, because I think that's what I'd heard. And that maybe Conceição beat him once, but no, man. From what I can gather here on BoxingTalk.com, it says Lomachenko beat Conceição. So I think we got that straight, unless somebody else has other pieces of evidence out there. Let's go to another phone call.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah, well, I mean, because apparently they say Loma only lost twice, and I don't know if it was Conceição was one of those names. Let's go to another phone call here. Let's go to 631. 631, you're on the air. 631, what's on your mind?
Hello, BDA. I'm just calling in to give you some of my thoughts on some of the fights. First off, Shakur Stevenson. I personally, I just don't see anything in this kid. I just when he like pulls away from like exchanges and stuff, it's always like the exact same way. Like it's always like in a straight line backwards and then lateral movement, and then like sometimes when he leans on his back foot, he like sits there like a statue, you know, and then he brings his lead foot off the canvas, and like he kind of does a lot of the same repetitious movements. And I feel like someone like Lomachenko, who has like great like pattern recognition, is really gonna like mix him the fuck up, you know. Like I don't see like this master boxer. Like I think people are just lying to themselves, and I'm really just getting tired of it personally, and we know the reason why, but.
Well, listen. I want to add something. He's an unorthodox fighter, but it works so far. It works. I give him credit for making it work.
He's good at what he does. I mean,
right.
He's a boxer. He's a good fighter, But like, it's not like.
I'll put it to you this way. It works for him. It's worked for him so far, but we've seen guys. Listen, I still remember Prince Nassim Hamed. He was making guys look bad. But little by little, you could see cracks in the armor whenever he fought counterpunchers that, people that didn't just wade in there into his punching range. And then once he fought Barrera decided, you know what, I'm actually going to box this guy. And he outboxed him. So once you get to a high level against other pound for pounders, then we'll see if this type of unorthodox style continues to work. But anyway, listen, 631, we got to move on to another call. Anything else you want to say?
Real quick, I think I'll give a prediction like something like Joyce versus Fury. I think Fury tries to outbox him, and then he'll see that it's not working, and then it's a even fight on the inside. I think Joyce is a little sharper with some of his work on the inside, but I think it's an even fight. I think Joyce would get the nod.
All right. Well,
but
I'll remember that prediction, my man. All right. Well, listen, we got to move on to another phone call. But thank you for calling in. Call back next time, right, man?
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Take it easy. Have yourself a good weekend. All right. Don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like. And the phone number's in the left-hand middle portion of your screen. So call in. Don't be shy. Let's go to another phone call here. Somebody in the chat saying Hamed was a bum. 346, you're on the air. 346, what's on your mind?
Hey, what up, y'all? Logical man.
So, Logical man, what's up?
Check it out, man. Joyce versus Parker. What's up, man? It was a pretty good fight. Joyce Parker got his ass whooped. I'm happy he lost because most of his biggest victories are from robberies. Joyce is a serious issue. The dude kept putting the pressure on. Man, I don't know if you guys saw them body punches, man, but he was doing really well, man. It was really wearing Joyce down. He was getting hurt to the body a lot. And Joyce, man, was taking solid shots, man. I don't know what the hell his head and chin made out of, but the dude was just getting hit by shit and he kept coming forward. I was like, man, this dude is a serious issue. I think that if he did fight Walter, I think Joyce probably would win, but you never know, though. It depends on how Walter will look there. If he improved during this Robert fight, all this new training he's been having right now, he had more time to train with his new trainer. So that be see where he's at. But Joyce fighting Usyk will be a good fight. But the issue is Usyk is just too mobile, man. He's too fast. I think he'll dance around Joyce, but Joyce does push forward. I think Usyk may not be able to hurt Joyce. This is my personal opinion. But it's still going to be like, maybe 4-8 if they do fight. Then Shakur versus Robertson was a pretty good fight. I wasn't bored. I didn't fall asleep or nothing like that. So I didn't like how Robertson kept holding him. Shakur wasn't getting pissed off about to throw his ass because he kept holding. In the low blows, I didn't see that much. I thought it was below the belt. But if it was, I guess I was mistaken. It is what it is. But, yeah, man, shit, I mean, it's a pretty good day of boxing yesterday and today.
Yeah, man, it was good, but it was decent. Hopefully, we end the year with a bang. And I will say, that I think Conceição was. I hated the clinching, but I think he was doing it to counter the low blows. So, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. When people try to justify clinching the other way, they go, "Oh, well, it's up to the other guy to do something to counter that." Well, Conceição was countering with clinches against the low blows. That's the way I thought it went. I'd have to rewatch the fight. But anyway, Logical Man, we'll keep in touch because I know.
I don't know about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
Also, I don't know about complete low blows like that. I think Robinson, I can't get Casano, but I think that, believe it or not, man, Shakur got a little pop, man. It seemed like he was nervous. When I saw Casano, like he wasn't even, planting his feet, fighting. He did that against Valdez, but with Shakur, he was like just, throwing shots. He was out of range and everything. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And every time he did get close, he tried to get the hell out of there. Like, he was really back foot bitching really bad.
I wouldn't necessarily call it fat foot bitching, but that he was back foot clinching. That's not what I was trying to say. Clinch, bitch, clinch. Fuck. I'll come up with something. Anyway, listen, Logical Man, we got to move on, but thank you for your call, and we'll keep in touch to the Jefe thing, because I think he said Monday. I'd have to contact him to verify, but I think he said Monday, not
Hey,
Sunday.
man, it's Pepe, dude. I don't know what he does, but, man, I have a damn life. This dude got to figure something out, man. He got to have a better time or something, dude. Well, I hope it gets done, though.
He's in Texas, so he's 3 hours behind us on the East Coast.
I'm in Texas, too.
Oh, wait, I thought you were in... Okay, then what the fuck is going on? Oh, man. All right, well, we'll see what happens, man. All right. Well, okay, so then for you, it's going to be 8 p.m., not gonna be 11 p.m. I'm gonna have to stay
8
up.
p.m. Okay, that's a little better. I think I can work with that. But thanks again, BDA. We'll talk behind the scenes, man.
All right, man. Take it easy. Thank you for calling in. All right.
Yes, sir. Bye.
Yeah, I'm the one that's gonna have to stay up till 1 a.m. to referee that shit show. All right. Don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like. Hit the like. Hit the like. King Butcher says it's 1 hour at BDA Boxing. Really? I thought it was 3 hours. The difference between us here in Canada, in Montreal, and Texas. I'll have to check. What the fuck do I know? Let's go to another phone call here. Let's go to 909. You're on the air. 909. What's on your mind?
Well, yesterday I saw the fight, and I think my only gripe with Shakur is that, like, when I first got into him as a prospect, everybody was saying, well, not everybody, but ESPN commentators himself and a lot of people were saying he's the next Pretty Boy or he's the next Sugar Ray Leonard. And I feel like I got conned in that aspect, but I like Shakur. And now there's that showbiz guy who's saying that now he's Sugar Shakur and all this stuff. I don't know.
Oh no,
I think he's overrated.
He's good, don't get me wrong, but
I
you got to razzle and dazzle, and that's not what he's doing.
Yeah. Well, Pretty Boy and Shakur, that's a really high standard to put people on, but I don't know. If they're a prospect, I don't know. Those people were really, putting it on people.
Yeah, I mean, because even when he was on the up and up, even when he was coming up against tomato cans, he wasn't exactly laying those guys out. So I think people need to admit it's like with Devin Haney. If you know what type of fighter he's gonna be, and what type of fight it's gonna be with him, you're not gonna be disappointed because you already know how it's gonna look. But it's the people that go in there expecting Roy Jones or Sugar Ray Leonard. Those are the ones that are gonna get disappointed. So 909. Anything else you wanna add?
Well, Haney, I think I like him because I feel like he has a championship spirit, even though if his body's not there, if he can't do what he wants to do. I think he doesn't want to duck anybody. He wanted Ryan Garcia to be his mandatory. He fought the top rated guys, and then he became undisputed. He's doing all the right things. So I like that. And if we're doing because there's talks of the Four Kings or whatever of lightweight 140. I think Tank would be Roberto Duran, and then if Garcia's still in that equation, then he would be Tommy Hearns, and then I'm saying composites. They don't really fight
exactly.
like that.
I was gonna butt in and say emphasis on the word like. You're not saying that because I know people are gonna jump on you. Say, he's comparing Tank Davis to Roberto Duran. That's not what you're saying.
Well, I'm saying the roles will fit in those fights. I feel
right.
You know how Roberto Duran kind of lost to all the Four Kings, but then he still has good wins later on in his career.
Well, he also beat one of the Four Kings. He beat Leonard.
Yeah, he beat Leonard, and then he beat Iron Barkley, and then I think he could pull something like that, but he has to fight I think Haney would be perfect for that person, for Gervonta. I think Loma is all wrong for Shakur because I think Constantine was a southpaw, and then Loma could really switch it up and do different things. He could do the keep away, he could do the walk you down type of thing. He could.
Well, Constantine was
hard. He cracked Richard Coleman.
Constantine was orthodox, but I get what you're saying that he might fall in line for Lomachenko's jab. But anyway, listen, we got to move on, caller. But thank you for your call, and we'll catch you on the next one. All right, man?
For sure.
Take it easy, man. Alan, anything you want to add before we continue on with the phone calls?
No, not right now.
All right. Don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like, hit the like, hit the like. And don't forget to call in. The phone number is right there in that left-hand middle portion of your screen. Make sure to call in. Don't be shy. But do try to keep it concise and precise. All right, let's go to another phone call here. Let's go to 773. 773, you're on the air. 773, what's on your mind? "773, you're on the air." Going once.
What's
Going.
up?
Yo, what's up?
So was that Tyson Fury's right-hand man got beat on, huh?
Tyson Fury's right-hand
Tyson
man.
Fury's right-hand man, Joseph Parker. Ain't that right?
I mean, I don't know. Are you trying to imply that he wipes Tyson Fury's ass, or are you saying that he's like second in command of Tyson Fury's camp or something?
Yeah, I'm playing poker. I'll call you back.
What the fuck? Kevin from Chicago. He calls in and then he goes, "I'm busy. I gotta go." I don't know where he sounded like he was at the McDonald's or something. A lot of noise in the background. He was at the Galleria. I think that's where he was at. Don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like, hit the like, hit the like. Let's go to another phone call here. Let's go to 805. 805, you're on the air. 805, what's on your mind?
How's it going, BDA? It's Amok PvP.
Oh, Amok, what's up, man?
Yeah, I thought the Joyce fight was probably one of the more entertaining out of the 3 fights that I picked out.
Mm-hmm.
In the perfect world, as I mentioned in the chat, I would like to see Joyce versus Ruiz Jr. and winner should you get a mandatory. And I also want to say that maybe Shakur Stevenson should go to like a big box or like a hardware store. Try to get like a sponsorship for like covers and stuff, you know, for all the low blowing he did last night.
Oh, come on, man.
But yeah, I didn't really watch the Serrano fight, but yeah, I was kind of cooking in between that fight. But yeah,
I was doing
all I really wanted
too.
to say.
Go ahead, Amok. Go ahead. Well, I think he
said that's all he really wanted to say.
Is that all? Oh, okay. Because I heard some noise. And I said, I hope he didn't fall or something. Let's go to the phone call. Let's go to 212. 212, you're on the air. 212, what's on your mind?
What's up, BDA? It's Joe.
Oh, Joe, what's up, man?
How you doing, pal?
You tell me, man. What's on your mind?
So I just wanted to make a quick comment on one of the calls that said that about Roberto Duran. All right, the guy was a lightweight. He beat Sugar Ray Leonard, probably gave him the fight of his life. Okay, he fought Marvin Hagler later on in his career, went all 15 rounds. Okay, he beat Iran Barkley when he was 40, and he got caught by Hearns. Okay, so you got to, and then he beat Davey Boy Smith on his You got to put it all in perspective. The guy was a legitimate. The guy started out as a lightweight. Okay, as far as Shakur Stevens. Okay, there's no way he's even close to Pretty Boy Floyd. It's not even the comparison. So I'm sick of hearing that.
Well, I mean, to be fair, and I'm not justifying it, I'm explaining it. That's what ESPN does. I mean, the same thing people were complaining about. I mean, we've heard it too. When people call in, they go, "Oh, I'm not a Lomachenko fan," and we ask them why, and they go, "Well, it's because ESPN was hyping him up." Well, do you hate Shakur Stevenson too? Because ESPN is certainly hyping him up.
Yeah, well, they can hype him up all he wants. He's not even close to Pretty Boy Floyd. I mean, he doesn't have the same pop as him. He's not quick like him. He couldn't move in and out like him. I mean, Pretty Boy Floyd. Now, I'm not talking about Money Mayweather here. I'm talking about Pretty Boy Floyd. The guy was an assassin. I mean, he made champions quit on the stool. Shakur's not even close.
Yeah, early on, and Shakur Stevenson hasn't stopped anybody. I mean, the last stoppage, meaningful stoppage he had was against PTSD Jamel Herring, and Jamel Herring ended up losing his fight subsequently. I mean, I saw him. I'm not kidding. I saw him at a speech. He was giving a speech at his local hometown before the Stevenson fight, and he had to stop midway through because there was a baby crying in the crowd, and he was having flashbacks. I'm not kidding around. So I don't think he was in the right state of mind to go in there against Shakur Stevenson. But listen, Joe. Also, the other thing I want to defend that caller again, who made the Duran comparison, because he didn't say, he said he's comparing them as composites, but he certainly wasn't trying to insinuate that Davis is as good or might be as good as Roberto Duran. Just wanted to defend or explain his position. But listen, Joe, we do have to move on.
Okay.
Right, we have to move on, man. But hey, try to drop by to the second Renaissance, man. You weren't there for the Juarez episode.
Why, you having the second Renaissance tonight?
No. But I'm saying, keep an eye out for when we do them. That it's always on the Discord.
Okay, all right.
All right, fantastic. Well, listen, good talk to you.
Great job, BBA.
Well, thank you, man. Thank you for calling in, man. Catch you in the next one.
All right, pal. Great job.
Thank you. Shakur is like a young Andrew Ward, says Hawker Mustang. And I don't think he's being complimentary there. PG says, this topic is such a waste of time. I wish no one would ever had called them the Four Kings. Well, that's the way it's gone now. So we can't stop it, man. GGS says, all that dick smashing. Oh, man. All right. So people that didn't take kindly to Stevenson's low blows. I must say, who's we got Stu Little dropping by story there. I don't think
what's happening, BDA?
Oh, Stu, right before you do anything else, man, accept my friend request so I can keep calling you next time.
Yeah, hang on. Oh, here we go. Yeah. I don't really know this Discord that well, so yeah, I think I've done it.
I wanted to add something though. Well, maybe I'll get to it after Stu chimes in. But Alan, you want to say something in the meantime?
Hey, Stu, what was the general consensus on Joyce versus Parker, man? Like going into the fight?
I mean, it's one of them where it didn't really get you excited, did it? I mean, Joseph Parker's one of them guys that just doesn't have the will to. He doesn't have the will to win. I mean, he'll find a way to lose when he's in control of a fight. I mean, he's one of them guys that just you just don't feel like you get it all from Joseph Parker. You don't really put it on the line. I mean, against Joshua, I mean, he left it really. Dillian White, sorry, left it really late to get into that fight. And Joshua, he was going through the motions in that one. It just doesn't seem to really give it his all for me. And he's one of them guys. But he's tough. He's tough as old boots. Parker. He's a good fighter, but I mean, today
he second in the win, though.
But it's a bit late. Parker's not one that really gets the appetite going. And Joe Joyce, I mean, he's not great on the eye, and he's definitely not great on the ears when he's talking. I mean, if I can talk a glass eye to sleep. But he's one of them guys that he's a very hard man to stop. He's like an old steam train. He just plods along. He's got a chin of granite. He just plods along. He doesn't look very good on the eye, and but he's a hard man to beat, Joe, because you've got to stop him in his tracks, and he's very hard to do that. And he just keeps coming, and that jab doesn't really look much, but it's taken a lot out of you. And like I said, just grinds people down, and he's going to be a hard man to beat. But before the fight, I mean, really, no, it's not one of them where you get up in the morning and you're excited for it. It's one of them ones.
Stu, Joshua Joyce, how does it go? Hey, Stu, don't ignore me, man. I'm asking you a question. You believe the call on this guy?
Joshua Joe Joyce?
Yes.
I mean, that's a good fight, that is. I mean, that's a tough one. Look, for me, you've got to knock Joe Joyce out to stop him. It's one of them where he just keeps coming and coming, and Joshua doesn't have the best tank as it is, And if Joshua hasn't got him out of there by round 6, then he's in big trouble. He has to get to Joyce early, and he has to catch him with a big shot. And if he can't do that, then I could see Joyce coming on strong in the latter rounds and probably taking that one. But I mean, he just doesn't look very good on the eye, does he? He doesn't. But he just gets results. He's a hard man to beat, and You know, he's methodical, so they're saying. Keeps plodding along, and he's like a steam train. Just keeps plodding along, and he's grinding you down bit by bit until you've got nothing left. And you know, I think to beat Joe Joyce, you've got to knock him out. But it's easier said than done. He's got a very good chin, Joe Joyce. He's tough as old boots.
That's why they call him the operator. We got Jimmy dropping by too. All right, so listen, we're talking about Joe Joyce. We're back to that subject, so I guess we'll go back to Shakur Stevenson later on. So, Jimmy, thank you for dropping by, man. You want to give us your thoughts on the Joyce fight?
Well, somebody finally stopped Parker, right? Knocked him out. Yeah, which is good because I mean I'm just not a Parker fan at all, like at all. You know what I mean? So,
well, I remember you and the Chief were saying you weren't looking forward to this fight at all. But were you surprised at the stoppage though, or?
Wait a minute. Oh shit, dude. Hold on. Talk to somebody else. I think I'm getting pulled over. Fuck. Yep, I am.
Hey, good luck,
I'm
man.
going on hold for a second.
Oh.
All right. Stay in the car and don't pull out any fake $20 bills, man. You'll be fine. Yeah, listen, going back to the Joyce thing, yeah, it's a difficult style, man. And Joshua's gas tank is the big question mark. I know I've heard some people say, especially after the Usyk fight, they said, well, his gas tank's not that bad, but I don't know, man. I'll tell you what, Joyce might make it look bad or worse than what it actually is. I'll just put it that way. By the way, before we continue on, let's take another phone call here. Somebody's calling in. Let's go to 803. 803, you're on the air. 803, what's on your mind?
Yeah, just quick takes off of both the fights, the Stevenson and the Joyce fight. Joyce reminds me of a lesser version of old Foreman, just always plodding forward, wild, slow punches, but he's tough as nails and he'll break you down. I think he loses to Usyk and Fury just because of the slow plodding style.
Great comparison, that.
What was that?
He said great comparison.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. Yeah, I was just gonna say that, and I just think Usyk and like I said, Fury, they'll both beat him just based off agility, footwork, and their quickness. Joshua, he has a better chance of winning that fight than Fury and Usyk. And then with Stevenson, the only thing I can say is he just reminds me of a kid. That's about it.
He reminds you of who? Sorry, you cut off. Who does he remind you of?
You have a Cabbage Patch Kid.
Okay, okay, come on. I thought that was Tank Davis, a Cabbage Patch Kid. All right, well, listen, 803.
Who's a Cabbage Patch Kid?
He's some sort of a caricature or something, I think. It's a little chubby thing there with weird hair.
Oh, wow. Yeah, the little dolls, the little toys that used to have. Yeah,
right.
Long
Well,
time ago,
803.
his age.
Thank you for your call, 803. We'll catch you on the next one. All right, man? Take it easy.
I think the genius of Joyce to me is he knows how to get these guys out of their rhythm. They're all used to a certain pace, to throwing a certain number of shots, then, using the legs to create some distance, regain some oxygen, some energy, come back and do it again. And what you see this guy do is he'll have that exchange. He'll see Parker trying to get away from him, and he just goes right after him. And he's like, no, we're doing this again right now. And keeps doing it over and over and over. And you could see where Parker was just like, oh my God, I can't take this.
Because there's nothing more disheartening than hitting someone with everything you got, and he just eats it, walks through it, and keeps coming. I mean, it's a very disheartening feeling, and I think that's what he does. He sort of he takes the will from these guys. I mean, he's just a hard man to beat. He doesn't look very good on the eye, though, does he? I mean, he just doesn't. It's amazing how he actually. For me, he won the gold medal. I thought he won that. I thought he got robbed. But just doesn't look very nice on the eye. But he's very.
That's what's so intriguing about Joyce, though, is some of his punches are slower than molasses, but the guy just knows how to land that power on you consistently. Yeah. He'll miss with one and then come back with another.
It's like the tortoise and the hare. Do you know what I mean? I mean, the hare steams off. The tortoise just plods along, but in the end he wins the race. I mean, that's what Joe Joyce is like. He just keeps coming and coming. Because like I said, his chin is the reason why he's hard to beat. I mean, if he didn't have a good chin, he'd be in big trouble because he gets hit with big shots and he leaves himself wide. I mean, he's slow. That's the thing with Joshua. He's very explosive, Joshua, with combinations, and he's gonna have to throw a lot of them to stop Joyce. He's gonna have to go early. He's gonna have to get in there and just jump on Joyce from the start, because I don't think you can sit there and try and outbox Joyce, because he's got a very good jab, Joyce. It doesn't look much, but it's, it is a good jab, and it sort of controls the fight. And like I said, he's got a good tank as well, so he keeps coming, and he's as strong as he is in the 10th as the first sort of thing. So he's hard man to beat. When you're tired and you're hitting this guy with everything you've got, and he's still coming forward and throwing shots, it takes the will, takes the heart from these guys.
So do you want to wait?
He knows how to grind you down.
Yeah, and I think most people would want to wait to see how Wilder looks, because immediately some people start saying, well, what about Wilder? Because he's got that big right hand and he's faster, so you figure he's going to connect at some point, especially early on. How would that Joyce chin stand up? The legendary Wilder right hand.
Wilder has no pace. He's all just throw a big bomb. And again, like I was saying before, throw a big bomb, move around, regain, your wind, and throw another big bomb, right? And I think Joyce would just know how to deal with that.
Yeah,
man.
Exactly. Well, I mean, Wilder's got no tank whatsoever. Them skinny little legs, they don't give him many miles on the clock. I mean, he's going to have to land one of them devastating punches early, and even then, I'd pick Joyce in that one. I think his style is just all wrong for Wilder. Wilder's not busy enough. Wilder doesn't have the arsenal. He doesn't have the selection of shots. He's got about 2 or 3 shots in the arm, and that's about it, really. And I don't know, man. I'd pick Joyce in that one, I think.
Guys that have to wind up big shots are sitting ducks for Joyce. He's going to punch right in between all your big shots, eat your big shot, and just keep coming with more, medium power shots that he throws. It's almost like the guy figured out, you know what? I don't have to kill myself trying to knock you out. I just know that I keep hitting you with these heavy hands, it's going to start to hurt. It's like he knows that.
He's very patient.
It's very similar to what Golovkin used to do in his prime. Golovkin never really had concussive power, but he had enough power to hurt you, and he just kept coming forward and landing them, and he sort of takes the will from these guys and takes the fight out of them. You know what I mean? And that's what Golovkin used to do. At least Golovkin had a similar sort of chin where you just can't stop the guy coming forward, and very disheartening when you're hitting someone with everything you got and he's still walking through your shots and landing his own.
Well, he gave Parker the same beatdown that Triple G gave to Lemieux.
Yeah, that's a way good comparison there, man, especially with that stick that's always coming in. I got to tell you, though, I can't stress this enough. He has to keep Wilder leaning back, because if he lets Wilder set his feet, Wilder's the type of guy that, okay, maybe, like I said earlier, maybe Joyce can take a shitload of punishment to the chin, but there's something that you can't really protect all that much, and that's a shot to the temple. A chin is a chin, but temple it remains a temple. If he gets a hit there and discombobulated, that could be dangerous. But I also think, if you're a Joyce fan, you should take some comfort in the fact that Fury was able to just walk Wilder down, and by the 3rd round, Wilder was done. He was on fumes.
But Fury took Wilder's only chance of winning. That was because Wilder has got no inside game, so he has to fight distance. And what Tyson Fury was doing, he was charging at Wilder, giving him no time to set his feet. And once he got inside, he was getting roughed up, and obviously the weight was taking its toll on his legs. Wilder's got the skinniest legs I've ever seen on a heavyweight, and legs like that are not going to last long when you've got 17 and 18 stone leaning on you and roughing you up, and that's. He just took his game from him. In the first fight, when he was fighting the Ben Davison game plan, that fucking I thought was terrible. I mean, he nearly got Tyson Fury killed that day. It was a dreadful game plan. But that was fight at distance. You're playing into Wilder's hands. But I said it. That's why I called it. I even called the round. I said what you got to do to beat Wilder, and it happened. You take away his only way of winning, and that's what he did. I mean, even then he still caught Fury with big shots, but. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. He's got probably 1 or 2 shots that he can throw, and if that's not happening, then he sort of loses ideas, doesn't he? He's just He runs out of ideas, and then he starts to lose his shape, and it's he starts to feel sorry for himself, Wilder, and I think that's what Joe Joyce will do to him.
Stu, did you end up catching the Shakur Stevenson fight?
I haven't seen it yet. Look, he's a very talented kid, Stevenson, but I'm not gonna lie. I'm not really into that sort of style of boxing anymore. I mean, it's all pretty on the eye, sweet science, but I'm tuning in to see someone get knocked the fuck out.
Hey, he's honest about what he wants.
Beat up. I want to see. I want to see Emil Griffith combinations on the ropes. When he killed that fucking guy. I mean, I want to see two warriors going. I don't want to see slick footwork and a jab and like 6 punches around like fucking Rigondeaux. I mean, I couldn't stand watching Rigondeaux fight. When all these LDBC were calling him the jawbreaker. I mean, he broke some fucking bum from England's jaw. What was it? What's his name? I can't remember now. He was a fucking bum, you know what I mean? Whose jaw was he breaking? He was throwing 6 punches around. I mean, it's dreadful.
Well, also give people the context too. Give context to people the context too. If the fight's taking place here in Eastern time in New Jersey at midnight, that means you would have to stay up at what time to watch the fight over there in England?
Oh yeah, 4 or 5 in the morning, and it's not just that. It's taking you 2 days to recover, because you got to remember at them sort of times I was drinking to stay up, and I was doing a bit of fucking cocaine as well to just keep me awake. And it takes 2 or 3 days, 2 or 3 fucking days to recover. Do you know what I mean? And it takes its toll on you, especially when you go to work. You're walking around like fucking Edward Scissorhands. You know what I mean? I just had enough of it, man.
I mean, yeah, it's look, you can catch the fight afterwards. You don't have to stay up. I was actually deliberating whether I was going to stay up or not, because by the time the main event was going to start, it was already 11:30, 11:45, and ultimately I did end up staying up because I'm a junkie. I'm a boxing junkie. I can't walk away. But it's getting harder and harder for me to say, you know what? When I know the outcome is going to be negative entertainment, how am I doing this to myself? I'd like to wake up early in the morning, cup of black tea, slice of toast, couple of eggs. Why not?
That's the thing with boxing. It's feast or famine, man. Like when you get a great fight, I don't think there's no better sport. And when you get a mismatch, it's like worse than watching paint dry, man.
Hey, BDA, can you hear me, bro?
Yeah. So you're gonna contest it in court, Jimmy, or?
No, he didn't. No, he was cool, dude. Come on, I live in the area. I own my own home. Fuck him. I had a light out. Good for him. I'm glad he pulled me over. But
did you tell him I pay your taxes?
I'm changing him in the driveway right now. I just changed the light bulb. I had him downstairs. I just didn't know I had a tail light out. No biggie. Oh. He did his job. But no. Oh, I was listening. Stu, listen, dude. And I agree. When Shakur first turned pro, when he was coming out of the images, dude, it was like watching paint dry some of his fights. Last night's fight wasn't like that. Like, you can really, excuse me, the first round, he really, right away, it was noticeable. Like, he put his weight over his foot and he let a fucking right hand really rip, like something you never usually seen from him. Put his weight on it. He was trying to take that kid out. I mean, I thought I think if you saw the fight last night, I think you'd be happy with the direction of his career. It looks like he's definitely trying to put weight on it, bro.
This is where I changed my mind on Crawford. I mean, when Crawford fought Postal, I mean, I actually lost the will to live that night. I mean,
it was horrible. It was horrible. You're right.
Absolutely fucking dreadful. I mean, just atrocious to watch. I mean, it really was. But then Crawford sort of like turned into sort of like a dog. You know, he'd come in, fight, throw his hands, and try and get these guys out of there. And I like Crawford. I like this sort of Crawford, and he's showing how good he can be. I mean, Crawford's a very dangerous guy. I mean, he's a bit vulnerable sometimes in the pocket because his wide shots leaves him open. But he's exciting now, and he's getting these guys out there. He's knocking people out. That's what people want to see. I mean, that Crawford that fought Postal, I mean, it done him a lot of damage for his career. It sort of like set him back a lot because no one wanted to watch him fight after that. You know, and he's been trying to rebuild ever since. You know, and he's probably slowly getting there, but he needs a big fight now. He needs a real big fight, but he's starting to look dangerous and explosive now. But when before he's fucking sitting there on the back foot, throwing 3 punches around, I don't want to fucking see that. I'm not staying up to watch that. You got to remember, it's not just the fucking, it's not just the boxing that you got to pay for. It's the drink and the fucking drugs to stay awake, isn't it? I mean, so it's an expensive night, isn't it?
And the kid coming up behind him too, Davis. He knows that the other kid trained at out of Crawford's gym.
Right.
Kid's fucking. He comes to take everybody out. He's a real. So I mean, Shakur's looking around. They're going to see this kid. Obviously, Top Rank's going to push him hard. So it was smart for him. And to his credit, I would say he's definitely trying to bring it. He doesn't have that. His least attribute is his power. I mean, everything else he's really good at. But I think he's looking like he's working on. He's turning his punches over, and he's definitely being more aggressive. And to the point, he caught a bunch of headbutts last night diving in. So I was impressed with his aggressiveness.
I gotta tell you, Jimmy, I gave him credit for. Oh, sorry, Alan, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna ask Jimmy. Do you think Conseco looked good last night?
No, but that's the reason why I picked Shakur to win wide. Anyways, I knew it was going to be a wide decision. Because Shakur throws very straight punches.
Yeah.
And if you're a winger like Conseco, he comes in with those not wild, but to him, like he leaves that back foot out and he throws those looping shots. That's. You know what I mean? You got someone he just pop right from the shoulder, doesn't have to spin his waist. He can just shoot him that fast and that hard. I knew that kid was gonna be eating shots all night. Yeah. I wasn't expecting him to be as aggressive as he was. You could tell like there was some serious dislike there. But yeah, he put it on him. And I know. So I wasn't expecting much from Conseco. That kid. I don't want to butcher his name for the 100th time, but so that's the reason why I wasn't surprised. No.
Well, can I say about the consensus seems to be that I'm giving him credit for, like you said, putting the pressure on. He didn't back foot bitch it. Good for him. But then you consider the fact that he didn't make weight. So whereas Conseco did, so you have to wonder. You can only assume. How that would have affected Conseco, whereas Shakur's walking there all fresh. Second of all, the low blows from Shakur Stevenson. I know. Listen, I besmirch Conseco for the clinching, but it seems to me like the clinching was a retort to the low blows, and then that's when it's turned into a shitty fight. It was just round after round of the same thing, and you have to wonder, Jimmy, Shakur Stevenson. Okay, he tried. I give him points for that, but once you get into the whole pound for pound discussion, I can't give him points for trying. I need to see somebody actually deliver. I'm not paying for trying. I'm paying for a result. And when you got guys like Inoue, Beterbiev, who are knocking guys out, Jesse Bam Rodriguez, who's now trying to get in contention for the pound-for-pound list. When you guys got like Usyk moving up and defeating bigger opponents, Lomachenko putting pressure on guys, making them quit. You got to show us something a little bit more, man. Trying is all fine and dandy, but what do you think about that, like from a pound-for-pound perspective?
Well, that will affect his that will affect his drawing power. Guys who don't stop people tend not to that's the reason why Floyd got into those positions to get those big money fights with Oscar and stuff, because he used to stop people. But if he doesn't, he's going to only be able to ride that so far. There's only be a niche, people who are going to get up to see those type of fights. And I think that's why he was really putting his weight on. But here's the problem: the attributes that do him well, great grasp his time, space and timing, his fucking quick hands, excellent jab, but without power, the bigger you go, you're going to be fighting bigger guys. So if you're not stopping dudes at 130, when you are, you consider you're going to be, the strongest you're probably going to be punching is right around 130. Even if he comes up, he's going to be facing, yes, he's going to be a little fresher. He's not going to be, drying himself, but he's going to be facing guys, obviously bigger, who hit harder. So not saying he still can't dominate fighters at 135, but it's going to be harder for him now because bigger shots are going to be coming back at him. So it's imperative that he really works on his power and starts really getting behind his punches. That's a problem where I think he kind of waited late in his pro career to really start turning on his power. So it's kind of playing catch up, and so he might. Who knows? But I agree with you, man. In order to stay up with these guys, especially that kid Davis, he keeps blowing dudes out. Bang! He's going to be a superstar.
Hey, I wanted to ask you about that because people were giving Canelo shit for. They were sort of distorting the statement he made about not fighting Mexicans. He said, "I don't like fighting Mexicans," and people gave him shit for it. Keyshawn Davis just said during the build-up to his fight, he said, "Oh, me and Shakur ain't never gonna fight. Or, we like brothers, man." So. He's saying he's not fighting any of the brothers. Do you think people are going to give him the same hit?
I think that's more down. I think that's more down to how many Mexicans really are at 168, 175. I mean,
Exactly.
There's not many to choose. And I think if you're going to sell pay-per-view in America, I think you do need an American fighter in there. I think, especially as a Mexican. Do you know what I mean? I know Cullen's a big name, but he really needs to be fighting like big guys from America.
Americans need to fight each other. I'm adamant about that. The best need to fight the best, no matter the skin color. I don't want to hear this, brother.
A lot of guys say that coming up, though, Mr. BDA. Like, I've heard that so many times in the past, like fighters coming up. Yeah, I'm really good friends. We're probably never going to fight each other. Or guys coming out of the same gym. I mean, you guys can look it up. There's all kinds of stories like that. And then what happens is their careers grow and the money grows and it grows. And then all of a sudden, if silly money's offered, like you're talking to a kid right now who's making $20,000 to fight. All of a sudden, if you get, hey, we get $5 million to fight him, right? How much do I really like that dude? Do I like him $5 million worth? You know what I mean? So money can play a lot to do with that. Because at the end of the day, it's a sport. It's not a fist fight. I mean, by the end of the first fight, Mickey loved Turturro. They became tight. And they were tight the next two times they fought each other. You know what I mean? Because it was, to them, it's a sport. You know what I mean? That's, you know what I mean? So, yeah, maybe Davis takes his brain into a, you know, maybe to him, he has to take his brain into a place of hatred. Some guys do that. Like, I have to hate this motherfucker. And he doesn't want to make his feelings that way towards him right now. But I'm just saying, dude, I wouldn't bank on that if serious money's thrown around.
Jimmy, do you think Joyce is cold-blooded?
What, like just his personality? Or...
Like he does. Like, I get the impression that when that dude is in there just abusing someone like Parker, his emotions are flat. He doesn't get his heart doesn't rise. Like, he's just going to work, man.
Right. I think he fights like his personality too.
Yeah,
right? Isn't kind of that way, flatlined.
I mean, if you want to interrogate a terrorist, just stick him in a room with Joe Joyce for an hour. He'll tell you everything you need to know. I mean, the guy, he's dreadful to listen to, but he's a good fighter. I mean, he really is. But sometimes, I mean, it's not all about fighting. Sometimes you've got to have a bit of charisma and or even have something about you. Like, like Joshua is his fucking six-pack and his looks, really, isn't it? That's why everyone, like all the girls, like Joshua. He makes a lot of money from advertising and stuff. But Joe Joyce is he's not even like sort of good to look at in a no homo sort of way. He's not good to listen to, but he's not really exciting to watch. But he gets results. And that's the thing with Joe Joyce. But he's getting on a bit now. It's not like he's going to be around for too long. So I think he needs to get a move on and fight either Fury. I mean, Fury Joe Joyce would be a good fight, I think, and so would Joshua Joe Joyce. But he's got a couple of options there.
I think he would give Fury problems.
Yeah, he would.
Hey, what happened? What?
I was saying I think Joyce would give Fury problems.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to fight, though. They're friends, right? And Fury, I mean, look, Fury doesn't, I mean, who knows? I'm hearing disturbing rumors on Twitter that the guy's going to be fighting Manuel Char. Can you believe that? I mean, if people are giving him shit.
I mean, like, the guy in the chat saying, yeah, he's obviously got more than just good looks and a six-pack. Of course he has. He's a good fighter and he's beat some good dudes. He's fought the best. He definitely has. But sometimes you have to have a little bit more than that. You know what I mean? Tyson Fury, the reason he's such a big name in America, because the Americans, they like fighters with charisma. You know what I mean? And they like it. It's not really his fighting style that they like, is it? The way he's such a big... They like his charisma and the way he is. And that's because you've got to be brass and loud, ain't you, in America? They love all that. And that's why he's a big name in America. But Joshua, they don't really like... They find him corny over there, don't they? He's a fucking yes boy. Plays up to the media and does what he's told, sort of thing. They don't really take to that. They like Fury because he's a bit of a rebel and he says it how it is, and that's how you got to be. You've got to have a bit of charisma as well. I mean, Floyd didn't really. The reason Floyd made so much money and got people on watching him is because he sort of like went down that road where he was flash and brass and showing all his money off and winding people up and. And people tuned in to see him get knocked out. That's they weren't tuning in because they're fans. They were tuning in to see him get knocked the fuck out. Unfortunately, I mean, he was probably the best defensive fighter of all time. He's a hard man to beat, isn't he? It's Floyd. So that's where he made his money. But it's not just about being a great fighter. You've got to have a bit more than that.
Do you think the night he know that Larry Merchant, he became money, TMT.
That's exactly what happened.
Well, I think a lot of it was, believe it or not, what sent the people buying to see him get stopped. A lot of that was generated after he hit Ortiz. Remember when Ortiz went to hug him, and he gave him that shot? That a lot of bitterness was put out towards him after that.
Absolutely, man. Hey, can I swerve a little bit here, because you guys were talking about the media earlier? The amount of, because somebody said in the chat, the slobbering on Shakur Stevenson's dick. I mean, people seem to have a problem with it with Lomachenko. I want to hear what people have to say about the slobbering on Shakur's dick, because there were instances where he would land a body shot and the commentators nonstop, oh, he's breaking him down. I don't like Conceição's body language. Ooh, a big left hand from Shakur. Another good right hook to the body. Then Conceição would land. They're talking about something else. It's like Joe Tessitore is like, Andre, I heard Shakur said that he likes to spar 6 rounds sometimes, and then he likes to ratchet it up to 12. It's like, what the fuck? You just saw the guy land 2 right hands, and you're talking about what you had for breakfast that morning. I don't know. It seems like when they try to I don't understand what Bob Arum's going to do with Shakur Stevenson, because he's, like you said, he doesn't wrestle in dancehall. He lacks that panache that, like Stu said, we want to see from Superstar. So why are they trying to push him so hard? What, do they think this guy's going to sell or something? I don't understand.
Yeah. They think, well, and I don't know. Well, you had the last African American, I don't like that term anymore either, I guess, but if it's the right term, but was there, and it was their superstar, walked out the door calling him a racist. So are they really just trying to show, like, do you think it's overkill? Do you think they're trying to go out of their way? I don't know. I'm just trying to make, if there's a reason, because it was ridiculous what you're talking about. Like Andre Ward, it was. And I normally like Andre Ward as a guy, but listen, you could tell he, was the first guy to sign him. I don't know if he's still with him or if he's on still as an advisor. But if that's the case, if he has even an advisement role in his career, that motherfucker shouldn't be on the mic, because that's some bullshit. It was terrible.
You just read my mind, bro.
This is where Wilder went wrong. I mean, Wilder could have. He could have been a big star in America, because everyone wants to see knockouts. Whether he's technically good or not, he starches people, and he could have been. But he decided to go on this race thing, and I said there's a lot of different races in America. You're sort of like taking away 3/4 of the audience, and it puts them off. And you can't get people on side when you sit there race baiting and talking about this and talking about white people and talking about fucking the struggles and coming in with fucking dead rappers talking about black this, black that. I mean, it just doesn't get people on side, and that's his problem. I mean, he's just not a very likable guy, Deontay Wilder. I mean, he's just not Deontay Wilder is not a likable guy. And I used to think he was all right. I used to quite like Wilder, but then he started going down this LDBC route. He started playing to them, and you're playing to a fraction of an audience.
Did you see what Wilder said this week? He said he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Hey, he'll be shocked if he doesn't get in right away. I'm like, what?
Yeah, he's probably gonna get in with the low standards they've got now. They'll let anybody in. And
if they let him in, they might as well burn the place to the ground. Listen, I mean, honestly, bro, he has the worst heavyweight resume in WBC history. That's not like a talking point. That's a legit thing. Like, you look, no fighter had the WBC belt 3 to 5 years, or was it, I think, 3-year cutoff, had never faced a top 10 fighter, never fucking took on any, like, nothing, dude. Avoided fucking the unification with Joshua. I understand they try to make that Povetkin fight, but it didn't happen. So the bottom line is, the first dude he took on was, top 10 was Ortiz. You know what I mean? And please, who's the best that fucking dude beat? Brian Jennings. It's like,
he's not likable guy. I think the only guy that I dislike more than Deontay Wilder really is his brother. I mean, because he's a big piece of shit than Wilder. I mean, he's a right clown, that guy. I mean, he just doesn't get people on side. And then it looks like Errol Spence. I mean, this guy. I mean, he just looks like he's constantly stoned. You just get no. Everyone's got that one mate that just sits in the room smoking. You can't sitting there like he's having a fucking stroke because you can't fucking get a conversation out of the guy. I mean,
You know what? Hey, Jimmy's talking about kind of stuff. Jimmy, I don't want to see you sitting in a car with one of your Italian friends outside kind of store.
Oh, no.
Just a Jew broad prejudice against Italians. Can you believe that? Well, listen, fellas, before we continue.
Can you believe that shit? But yeah, no, and wild too. Like it's not even just because think about it. His claim right up like that. So remember, Fury was a cherry pick gone wrong. He had turned down, by his own admission, more money to fight Joshua for unification because, like he said, it was out of the goodness of his heart. That's what he's trying to make it seem like, because, whatever. But he took on what he thought was a feather-fisted, which he even tweeted many times, this feather-fisted, coming off the couch, 300 pounds. He thought this was a cakewalk. He was going to put him away, all right? It was a cherry pick gone wrong. He ended up the last two fights getting demolished. So really, you look at who he fought, their rankings, and, they were cans on top of cans. So really, with all the heavyweights over the years who didn't get into the Hall of Fame, who fought a lot tougher than that, I mean, are they just going to go by, okay, he had X amount of title defenses? So opponents don't matter? It's just insane. It's just, I don't know. If they do, that would pretty much...
I think it's like 29th, 30th fight. We're probably
institution
more than that.
has...
Sorry, Wilder fought Audley Harrison in his 30th fight. I mean, his resume is a disgrace. And I mean, he fought Stavern twice. I mean, I call him Barry White because he fucking looks like him. He fights like him as well. He's just dreadful. And he fought this guy twice. And Washington and I mean Malik Scott. I mean, if that's not a dive, I've never seen one. I mean, go through and Ortiz has got to be older than Morgan Freeman. Yeah, and you got fucking Arthur, the mattress man Spilker. It's a dreadful resume.
Hey, fellas, before we continue,
prior to fighting for his championship fights, prior to those 10 championship fights, after he fought Stavern for the first time, those 30, I believe, fights before that, or whatever the number was, it averaged out. His average ranking opponent, I believe, was 167. So if you take all 30 guys, some guys were ranked 510. They did a list and somebody averaged out. It was like 167 was his average. So that was the average ranking. 167 guys were better than the average person he was fighting as he went in to fight Stavern for the first time. And it was right after that fight that he turned down the first unification.
Hey guys, let me take a phone call here because somebody's been on hold for a while. 817, you're on the air. 817, what's on your mind?
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Shazar.
Oh, Shazar, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, guys? I just want to call. Enjoyed the fight. I knew Joyce was going to win. I think it was really good. I'd love to see Joyce versus any of the other top guys like Fury or Usyk. I think Usyk beats him, and I think the Fury fight will be really fun. But I wanted to talk a little bit about Stevenson. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, once I saw how the fight was going, I turned it off after 3 rounds. I was like, oh, this is bullshit. I know some other people in the Discord turned it off. I was on Twitter and Reddit, and a bunch of other people turned it off. Like, a lot of people are getting tired of this blatant, biases for Black American fighters. It's ridiculous.
Well, it is there.
It's you got. I wanted to because you guys were mentioning Loma, right? Like Loma Lomachenko. These guys always. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You mean the layups that they're setting up for them, right?
What exactly do you mean by that?
It's a basketball term, I think, when you lay.
Yeah, like the opponents that that are not hard for them to beat.
Yeah. It's they're all like. I don't think. I mean, the fight was. I'm not going to say fixed, but it was obviously the ref was just letting this dude fucking Andrew Galata him the whole time. It's like nobody wants to watch this shit, man. It's ridiculous, and it's the people who cheer for these guys, like Stevenson and Wilder and Haney, the people who like these guys, we know what they are. They're Black American supremacists. It's exactly what they are. And I say Black American because they don't give a shit about AJ. They don't care about Joyce. They don't care about Africans from Africa. They don't give a shit about them.
Well,
they only care about their own group, right?
AJ's not black according to some of them. I mean, if you're not, this is how stupid some of these LDBC guys are. I mean, if you're not from America and black, you could be black from anywhere in the world. You're not black. You've got to be from America, according to some of these clowns. And this is the problem. And let's be a lot of these American fighters, as talented as they are, they're stealing a living. They're just going in there, going through the motions, and doing what they have to do to get the job done and pick up the check without giving much effort and much damage as well.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just,
and they're two-faced about it. They're two-faced about it. Like that fight, but Stevenson's fight against the Brazilian guy was a joke. Like he was fucking cheated. He was cheating. And then it's like we were all, I think we're a lot of Hispanics here in the Discord, and we all saw Bam low blowing what's his name, and we were all like he should have been disqualified. So it's like they're pointing the finger, but they won't look back. It's what was I going to say? Oh yeah, Lomachenko. The reason I think these people hate Lomachenko so much is because we know that they're black supremacists, black American supremacists, but they cover up that supremacy with saying that they're the slickest fighters. Like, oh, nobody wants to fight us because we're slick. That's the real reason, the slick American style. But when you got guys like Lomachenko, who is slicker and hits harder than these guys, it crumbles their narrative. They can no longer. It destroys that they're the slickest ones. So they start saying Lomachenko's a joke. He's this, he's that, he's overrated because it's attacking their narrative. Because there's a guy who's beating them at their own game. You know what I'm saying? That's the game that they claim. And then you got guys like Fury who look like a fucking oaf. Like this guy looks like a fucking barbarian, and he's out knocking out these fucking their black god Wilder, right? And fucking it's what I'm saying. Like they hate the idea. They are so consumed by their own identity that any attack on it's impossible. Like Loma's a cheater. Fury's, and I talk a lot of shit about Fury. Everybody knows I'm always hating on the guy, but he fucking beat him. He didn't cheat. He beat his ass. You know what I'm saying? It's just like I'm sorry. Go ahead, BDA.
You hit the nail on the head. I have yet to see another community as big as the LDBC who were mentally buck-broken the way they were after Fury beat Wilder. They couldn't conceive it to the point where they had to come up with 100 theories, egg weights, loose gloves, other foreign objects in the gloves. He was poisoned. I mean, the lights, the weight of the costume before on the walk, it was ridiculous. It really showed their maturity.
I saw most of them, but most of them, they were sitting there and they'd lost all the colour in their skin and they'd lost the will to live, sort of thing. They were more butthurt because I lost my dad around that time, and they were more butthurt than me, and I just lost my dad. It's just weird. I mean, it was like.
It's what I'm saying. Like it's an identity. It is a religion in the United States. Black people are a religion here. Everything we do in this country revolves around black people. Everything, the culture, the sports, the music, everything has to do with them. So they have like this really weird identity that no other group in this country has. Right. So whenever they lose anything, it's a conspiracy against them because they cannot, they literally mentally cannot conceive the idea that there is somebody who's better than them. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
and people are going to say that we're fucking over racist, we're this and that. Dude, I'm a Hispanic guy. Most of my favorite fighters come out of Eastern Europe. Like I don't have a racial bias, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the guys I like to see.
Well,
you know what
listen,
I'm saying?
Shazar, you don't need to justify. You don't need to defend yourself from that. People should have the ability.
Well, I know I have to because I know I'm not reading the chat, but I know these fucking LDBC dudes in the chat are gonna be calling me a fucking racist, and I'm a brown dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's ridiculous.
Well,
you gotta feel like you're out walking on eggshells around these people, and it's like it's pissing me off, and it's like.
But that's how
I feel like there is a growing like I said in the Discord, they're like uniting all the other races against them. You got like Asians, fucking Arabs, British people, Mexicans, all fucking grouping up to be like, yo, like fucking get over yourselves, man. Like black Americans aren't the only fighters in the world. Like there are fighters in other places of the world that are killing it.
Yeah, but then you got to remember that there's somebody above that who's trying to ferment this war and hatred between the races. So you never can lose sight of that. And by the way, Shazar, I like how you brought up the Hispanic thing because you do need to get yourself some armor against this accusation of racism. For example, I'm Hispanic, so I got that going with me. And I guess what? My bar mitzvah's coming up. And I'm also getting a rhinoplasty. So I'm covering all my bases, man. Let me tell you, they're not going to get me. But anyway, Shazar, anything else you want to say before we move on?
No, just like a great show. I thought the fight last night was terrible, and I'm really glad that this one
I was going to ask you,
made it. I'm sorry?
Shazar, are you on Twitter?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter. I follow you, actually.
Twitter account? Okay, so you're, or is that your, Shazar, is that what you're under?
No, it's like in Japanese. I'll send you a message. I'll like DM you so you'll know who it is.
Yeah, okay, yeah, DM me.
All right.
I'd like to know because I don't know. Anyways, thanks.
Great call, man. Call back next time.
Yeah, no problem.
All right,
yeah, I love
easy,
great. You guys, great. You guys always got a good chemistry. Love talking to you guys.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Hey, keep dropping by the Second Renaissance, man.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
All right, take it easy, man. Thank you for calling in. Yeah, and I already see we got a couple of people complaining about it. I'd like to see these people complain to the myriad of LBC channels out there that do this, engage in this type of talk day in, day out. Every episode. We do it every once in a while. These people do it every episode. I'd like to see you keep it a buck, as they say in the community, and really call them out before you come here and call us out. But anyway,
I would like to know anybody who complains about a call like Shazar who didn't say anything insulting. He's saying how he's being meant, how he feels about things, what they say, my truths. My thing is this: did any of these people who are complaining about that call say anything to Cece the Great when after Fury beat Wilder, the first thing she could come to think of it during the live with thousands of people watching that too, because it was 78, right? The general of the LDBC. Mm-hmm. When she was the first guest on, and when he asked how she felt about the loss, she said, I ain't gonna lie, man, I can't, I don't want these white motherfuckers to think they have anything over on us.
Should we play the clip?
That was her first thing she took out of the fight.
Should we play should we play the clip? I don't want to play it, but I mean, can you imagine any other channel?
But you know what I'm saying? How many people? Yeah, right. Imagine we said that. Like that's how was our opening take of the fight. How many people complained to her? Say, why would you say that? What the fuck does that have to do with the fight? Maybe because Deontay Wilder, remember, shook his head in disgust because Tyson Fury was asked about, of course, Andre Hale, the race huckster, for fucking, pretends to be a boxing journalist, asked first Fury, what does this mean of being on, Black History Month? Oh, well, anybody can write that history any way they want, if you know what I mean. And when they asked Fury, he was like, no, I refuse to answer. I refuse to make this about race. And as he's saying that, the utter look of disgust on fucking Wilder's face, took a drink, shook his head like he was so fucking pissed that this dude didn't want to make it about race. It was nuts. Well, and you're right about that, about what he did, alienating himself. Like, why would you do that? Like, keep pushing the racial issue and alienating all those fans. But anyways, that's my thing.
Well, people want us to play the clip, so we're gonna have to play it. Actually, this is in the clip. Hold on. Yeah, because I mean, that's an excellent point, Jimmy. Like, when you hear this, and if you heard this live too during their broadcast, I wonder how many of the people actually, called in and said, "Hey, man, you guys, maybe you guys are in the wrong here. You shouldn't say that type of stuff." By the way, this is from, I forget the channel. Whose channel is this?
Not one. I listened to the whole show. Not one. Nobody chastised them, and she wasn't the only racial talk.
Jimmy, excuse me. It's called. I was asking who made the video. It's BK Boxing. BK Boxing is the one that made this video here, and then there's the one that I could play, the one from Haymanites. But let me play this. I'm sharing the screen with you, fellas, so you can see it. And let me just play this because I think some people are in disbelief. They get too much info from the mainstream media, and they don't get it. So here we go. This is after Wilder Fury 3. So obviously Wilder got lost, and
listen, he went out the way he's supposed to went out. If that was the case, but I'm so hurt.
Yeah,
I'm hurt. You know what I'm saying? I'm hurt. I don't like. I don't like that shit. I don't like it. And I gotta be honest. I don't like these white motherfuckers thinking they got an upper hand on us.
Let me replay that.
I don't like it. And I gotta be honest, I don't like these white motherfuckers thinking they got an upper hand on us.
So, guys, would it be fair to say that when black fighters win, she looks at it as black people having won over all the other races?
Of course. Absolutely. There's no question asked. Yes.
Interesting.
That's the driving force.
Interesting.
I mean, you got the other guy who says, Cali, I believe it's Cali Boxing on the same video with Haymanites. Oh, Cali Boxing, you're racist. You're always going for the black guys. That's right, I am. I want Shakur. I mean, he goes, I go for Wilder, and I want Errol Spence to win. Why? Because they're black. Remember how he says it just like that, and they're all fucking cheering him on with it. So it's just that's the fucking listen. When the number one, criteria your fighter that you champion has to have is melanin, not hand speed, fucking defensive punching power. If that's the first step, if it's that, then everything else can go from there. But if he doesn't have it, I'm gonna walk right past him. So you're not really about the sport, dude. You know what I mean? And that's just true. But obviously it's not all. There's plenty of guys who just love the sport. We get them call the show all the time. But that subsection of people allowed in many, and they turning off people like that call us Shazai. And after a while, people only take so much of it, and there is a pushback. And everybody sees it.
And by the way, people in the chat, Jimmy, are saying that what it boils down to is insecurity. So that's essentially what we're looking at here. We're looking at people's insecurities, and I do think we should move on from that. I just want to play you another clip here. This is from the craziness that we have to deal with here. Another form of craziness, I should say, on YouTube. This is from Black and Brown when he was doing Open Lines. Sorry, not Open Lines. Free Smoke Friday. Free Smoke Friday, one of the best shows out there. I hope he comes back to do another one. Check this out. Hold on a second. Maybe only I find it funny, but it's some of the fucking maniacs that are out there. Hold on. All right, here we go.
Definitively in rounds. What was he doing? Because he obviously didn't hit him with that many bombs, right? He never really got hurt. He never really got booked. So what was he doing?
Agent, but he wants to fight.
And that's it. And that's fucking Pigeon just dropping by, sitting in the dark, all covered up like a ghost. And he just starts laughing maniacally. Those are the type of people we got to deal with, fellas. These are the type of people we got to deal with. So I just want to play that clip to sum up some of this craziness. What else, man? Well, listen, we're at the 2-hour mark here. It's a Saturday night here. I don't know if you guys have anything else to do. Maybe you guys want to take it easy the rest of the weekend. But anything else you guys want to mention?
Yeah, one more thing. I think that this whole LDBC thing, race is their economy. That's how they make their money, by attracting all these people that are interested in race, right? Like you see them all the time when they're doing their streams and they're getting, the $20 and the 10s and the 15s and all that, right? These dudes make bank off of pushing this garbage, man. Somebody refusing to talk about it like Fury did, that's like someone saying your money's no good here.
Oh, it's a great way of putting it, man. And that I like the use of the word garbage. We need to start calling things garbage more. Trash, garbage, debris, excrement. I think we should go with them, man. I like that. You just remind me.
That was an excellent point. Yeah, that was an excellent point right there, bro.
Thanks.
Well, listen, Jimmy, anything else you want to say?
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna. Has Spence Crawford been made yet? Nope, it hasn't. But I don't know what the fuck's going on there, right? But yeah, no, I think at this point Crawford needs to take another fight before that. But what else was I going to say? What did I just see relating to boxing? Was pretty interesting. I can't remember now.
Did you hear about Fury fighting?
What's that?
Yeah. No, go ahead.
No, what's that, BDA? No. You say something.
I was going to ask you about Fury Char. I heard that rumor on Twitter. Please tell me that ain't true.
Yeah, I don't see how he can make that fight after talking all that shit. What happened to the Joshua thing? Joshua said, okay, he said he was going to do all his demands. Did Fury back off on that?
That's what I read on Twitter. It said that apparently Joshua agreed to everything, but apparently Fury was only using his name to promote a lesser fight.
And they caught him. How was he not catching, if that's true, how is he not catching so much shit? Like, if I was a big Fury fan, I appreciate him taking on Wilder because Wilder was a divisive dick. But, you know what I mean? That's where a lot of his fans came from in the United States because, he was the evil character, I thought. And, but how do you square that up? How do you square with that? Like, wait a minute. So you just really were going to fucking use Joshua's name to get some, fucking Twitter shine? You're going to like dog this dude? Like try to embarrass him like he wasn't going to, he called him out and he ducked me. And then he calls you bluff and you bail? That's fucking low rent, man. That's pretty cheesy if that's what went down.
Yeah, that's insane.
Fury is only slightly better for boxing than Wilder. That dude is horrible, man.
I mean, we'll see.
He's a fucking disappointment every time he wins the title. What does he do? He goes into fucking hiding.
We'll see what happens, man. I mean, I don't know. It's if he announces a Char fight, then I'll condemn him. Because, I mean, he was going to fight Fury. He was going to fight Joshua before Wilder threw a monkey wrench in the works. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I mean, he's willing to fight the best, but this time, I don't know. I don't know if it's just mind games. I don't know if he's just being an ass. We'll see, man. I can't determine this yet until he actually signs a fight. But be that as it may, I think we're going to wrap it up here. Fellas, thank you so much for joining us. I want to give a shout out to Stu, who dropped by earlier, King Bucho, Jimmy, Alan R. Thank you guys for dropping by. Really appreciate it. Everybody that called in. Really appreciate it. Everybody that donated the super chat. And let's not forget everybody in the chat. Tyson Fury is King of Wakanda. GGS. Grim Reaper. Super Sardonic. Section 5. GGS. Stephen Schneider. Roderick Davis in the house. Shout out to Roderick Davis. J. Colt. Ryan O'Rourke. Pound for Pound King. The Quags. Shout out to the Quags. Shout out to I Am Your Leader. Who else we got here? Jonathan Finch. Amak PvP. Abaddon the Annihilator. Wasn't Abaddon a demon? It's kind of creepy. Jay Wonder. No, sorry. Just J. PG. Earl Stevens. If I forgot anybody, guys, you know who you are. We do have to go. But thanks again for listening to the show. Thanks again for contributing. Thanks again for supporting us. Don't forget to check out the Second Renaissance. And catch you on the next one, fellas. Have a good night. Take it easy.
Disappointed in everyone.